Yes, people, blue morning to you all. I hope we're all enjoying the holiday period. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. But more importantly, blue morning to you because, in fact, it is the Blue Morning Show. Welcome back to the Blue Morning Show. Welcome back to another Transfer Talk on Chelsea Perspective and other Chelsea news. We'll have quite a few topics to talk about today. We'll talk about, again, the rumors on Koulibaly leaving Chelsea. We'll talk about the price tag, the quoted price tag on Enzo Fernandez. And also, again, we'll discuss whether we need Dusan Vlahovic and all the, again, random news we'll have lined up to talk about. But more importantly, again, this is Chelsea Perspective. It is always interactive here. Let me see what we already have on in the chat. And please, as you're coming in, if you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the stream to help us reach more people. The first person that spoke there, I don't know why I lost it in the highlight screen. Danny Music says, Koulibaly ain't leaving. What is all this talk? It is silly season. It is, again, the transfer window is next month, a few days. So a month before you start hearing all this thing. So we're here to debunk it, talk about it again, and see reasons why we don't think it leave. And maybe there's somebody, again, in the chat or on the panel that maybe sees a reason why they think Koulibaly could or may leave Chelsea. Koulibaly, Rudiger, and Silva. We need Rudiger back as soon as possible. I don't see that happening, really, given the manner at which he left the club. Even though, again, you could say he isn't a regular starter at Real Madrid, I don't see him deciding to come to Chelsea Football Club. And please, if you're watching, let me know if you can hear me. That's very important because, yeah, okay, I see the signal there, so which means you can hear me quite well. No matter how well, I don't see, again, I wouldn't say it's necessary to say shut up to somebody who's in the chat with you. But yeah, again, you express yourself, but please be civil about it. And the CFC Hakim says there's no way Koulibaly has been here 3 months and there are rumors about him leaving. He will stay. Again, he will stay and not going to judge him yet. I will give him the second half of the season. Even again, the number of games he's played already, I think he's done quite well. I think people are just quick to judge him and maybe not judging objectively and just jumping to the conclusions that he. So I've heard people call him flop already. So yeah, that's not surprising to me. Liam Lane here says again, a blue morning, Kachila panel and child blue morning to you too. I hope you're doing well. And please, the next thing I'm going to read out here is very important. It's very important, please. It says, please like and subscribe when you enter if you have not, as it helps the channel grow and reach a wider audience. Yes, the likes are very important. The likes help the channel reach a wider audience. It helps the channel grow. And again, please, so if you haven't, as you're entering, please take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And as promised, we would do a giveaway today, a $50 giveaway. And that's, again, an amount budget. 150 is the total amount that was budgeted for the Roman Abramovich tribute content. And the contestant and series. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and break it down into three and then give it away to people this festive period, if that's how you prefer to hear about to say it. Sounds good. Okay, thank you very much. And for Eric Bobank says greetings, the blue greetings to you too. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. I appreciate that. That makes us very happy. Getting you loud and clear in Uganda. Yes, Obetius Richardorus. And please tell me if I'm pronouncing your last name correctly. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. I appreciate that. But more importantly, if you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Let's get into it. The first thing I want us to talk about here is, again, Inter are very disappointed with Romelu Lukaku's performances, but will take advantage of his poor form to ask Chelsea to extend his loan for another 12 months. There's a purchase option for the summer, but his performance is convinced Inter to delay a decision. To me, I knew it was going to come to this. I knew, again, no matter the argument, I knew it was going to come to this. Inter were never going to, again opt to buy him. at a period where they pay anything, any serious money for him. Again, so it's a strategy if you ask me, and that's what I've argued all along. So it doesn't make again any sort of sense to still loan him back to them because if he spends one more year there, his value will depreciate because he become older. Plus, again, they may well still come up with a poor performances excuses like they're doing right now. So it doesn't make any sort of sense. I argued when that deal was being negotiated that again the better deal for Chelsea would be to negotiate a deal where again they'd have to again be obliged to buy him, which is simply again it's called the term is called with an obligation to buy. No matter what happens, they have to buy him, and it doesn't look like Chelsea did that. Now, if you ask me, I'd say they're playing a game with Lukaku. Now they're trying to get him practically on a free. We paid something north of again, 90 million pounds for him. And now we're probably not going to get anything close to 30 or 50 million from Romelu Lukaku's sale. So yeah, it's a bad deal. And I don't know. Yeah, I'm really not sure what's going to happen here. That's a talk about something being a huge L. This is the hugest L I've ever seen, if there's anything like hugest. But really, I am disappointed, really, again, given how much we pay for him and given how well he did at Inter. To me, it's a strategy, really. But I'm just going to move on from the Lukaku talk because it infuriates me whenever we talk about him. And again, realizing that, yeah, that's a huge L incoming. Morning, Kachila says Santiago Muniz. Morning to you too. I hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for finding the time to join the show. That's him saying hello to Leon Lane. I don't think there's anything else in the chat to talk about. So let me know again what you think about Lukaku's situation before we move on from it. But I'm going to try to look at the next topic we have. This is, again, it breaks the heart, really. And Lukaku himself, again, he didn't help matters. I think his behavior showed he wanted to leave Chelsea Football Club for the second time, which means, again, getting anything sizable from himself is difficult. This one, again, congratulations to us. Finally, it looks like we've secured the signature of David Datro Fofana. Again, I'm going to say how I enjoy saying his name. It's just the rhymes there. I enjoy saying his name as much as I enjoy saying Didier Drogba's name. What a player he is. Again, from little I've seen, I hope he's capable of replicating the form he showed in his current club at Chelsea Football Club. He's tall, he's powerful, he's good on the ball, good close control, good finishing, and he's not a selfish attacker, which, as I explained yesterday, is one of the things I like the most about my strikers. Not to be selfish, not to always be focused on being the one, again, score the goal, but always to see if there's a better positioned teammate, so that again the team gets more goals. It's about the team, not about the individual. Really, he has that, and again, from what I've seen from his highlights overall, he's an intelligent player, and hopefully that translates to him being a success at Chelsea Football Club. So, Fabrizio Romano reports that David Datro Fofana has completed all medical tests on Thursday in London. Then Chelsea will unveil the Ivorian striker as new signing soon. A deal is in place with Moldy for 12 million euro fee. It's all confirmed. The personal terms are fully agreed on the long-term contract. I'm guessing 5+1, a 6-year deal. It looks like it's one of those days where my connection will be fluctuating, but again, it can't today, so thank you. Just one second, let me see what's going on here. Again, it looks like, yeah, it's going to be one of those days. I hope it's not really bad. You pay so much money for the highest speed internet connection. Maybe What I ought to be doing every day is reset the router before the show starts. Excuse me, let me take a sip of water before I lose my voice. Yep, for David Fofana, I am excited, and I'm seeing some conflicting reports. I may say conflicting opinions. Again, when it's opinions, usually it conflicts. But what I'm seeing is that some people are suggesting they're not sure what the club are going to do with him. Some are suggesting maybe they let him go out on loan to continue his development. I don't think the club will let him leave on loan because Amanda Brewer is out injured. If anything, we don't have any recognized striker, be it traditional or hybrid striker, is set for Aubameyang in the absence of Amanda Brewer. So it doesn't make any sort of sense to suggest that the club let him go. I think that comes down to how much you're paying for him. We're paying such little money for a player. His numbers again are out of this world. Really, let me look at it because I'm excited about us signing him. Really, quickly. I'll be back with you. Let me get his numbers. I think most people don't value him. Most people don't again expect so much of him because we didn't pay out of this world again transfer fee for him, which is very common with Chelsea fans. We've been conditioned to reason like that because we didn't pay big money for him. Some don't believe his Chelsea level or he's good enough for Chelsea Football Club, or because we're signing him from a Norwegian side, some don't believe that he's going to succeed at Chelsea. That mentality, because we're not signing him from a big club, we're not paying big money. I think it's really dangerous, but I think this guy would do well. So let's quickly look at his number. David Datro Fofana. I really want us to look at his numbers to see again. We're getting again a value for again given how well he's done where it is. Stats. Okay, there you go. This again, his numbers are for 2022 is crazy, really. 24 matches, he scored 15 goals with 3 assists. To me, again, I'm excited for this signing, really. It doesn't matter if we paid only £3 million for him. Yeah, I get the mentality of the Chelsea fan base, but again, I think he will be a success at Chelsea Football Club. And with that, I want to welcome Bobby to the panel. Bobby, how are you doing? Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. Okay, he's using his device. He said it takes some time to unmute. So I'm going to keep talking about him. I've given you his numbers in terms of, again, his output as a striker.
Hey, Coach. I don't know why sometimes my unmute button just gets stuck.
Yeah, it's usually, it happens when you use a small device, but that's not a problem. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. Bobby, again, what do you think about this signing? Because I think it's done and dusted. David Datro Fofana. Last season, he scored 15 goals in 24 matches. That's not far away from being at least him averaging a single goal per game. Some will argue the league is coming from is no measure for the Premier League. Again, some people, again, that mentality, Chelsea fan base mentality, because we're not paying too much money for him, they don't think he's good enough for Chelsea. But what do you think about this kid? I don't know if you've researched him really.
I like what's happening now. I do. The investment in young players, doing things differently. Chelsea are always successful when they do things their way and not imitate other people. People imitate Chelsea. Chelsea don't imitate. And these youngsters that we're bringing in, I get it. I know what they're planning. It's short term, current term, mid-term, and long term. That's the
long term, more importantly.
So yeah, this kid, people don't know much about him. Sorry.
No, I said long term. More importantly, the youngsters were signing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The transfer market is inflated. Yes, we will get a few here and there, but it's inflated, especially when Chelsea come calling, they add another zero on top. Whereas when you get these youngsters, one, you're not paying, they may be inflated prices for youngsters, but they're not the ridiculous transfer market prices. and they don't start on silly wages because they've got to earn their way to earn those silly wages. So it's a very, very good strategy. They're coming in, they do have a point to prove. So they would be they'll be thirsty, they'll be hungry. And of course, someone like Graham Potter, they're easier for him to manage than the prima
Hmm.
donnas. The strategy is good. I like it. I go it, and I hope we get more of them. And I can envisage a good preseason with them because a lot of them should be available for preseason. They won't be among the ranks and files of these stupid and ridiculous FIFA competitions that keep calling people every summer to national teams. They're not there yet. And I really see the sense behind the whole project, the stuff they're doing with people like Casade, Slonina, even Omari Hutchinson. He will be eased into the first team. I don't want to see Omari playing game in, game out like some fans are looking for. Ease him in
Hmm.
slowly. Um, and I think by next season, we start seeing these kids more and more. So yeah, I'm hopeful for this one. I like the signing as with Andre Santos. I like that signing, and I like the direction the club is trying to go. They've got the backroom staff, the technical director now, which I think will yield fruit starting with January. We do need to look at the midfield, as I keep saying. I've been hearing rumours that Potter's trying to do something with Charlie Webster in midfield. I don't know if he quite has the physicality for that, but he certainly
Hmm.
has some creativity, which is what we're lacking. And it seems on paper to be good. It's going to take time, of course, but it's not going to take too much time, and it's going in a direction that's sensible. And I love it that people don't get it. I like that. Even a lot of
Yeah.
Chelsea fans. There was a Twitter chat that I was on, and they were all talking, in my opinion, absolute nonsense. They
Yeah.
what
So
they're
something.
in the cities doing this.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Something you said again that I want people to pay attention to. It's important the youngsters such as again Omari Hutchinson. It's important to is for integration into the team to be a gradual process because there's a way you do it.
Yeah.
You will be again putting unnecessary pressure on the kid because that's the way you do it. It seems as if he's the one that again the team cannot do without it. I don't know how else to phrase it. It's something I've talked about. It has to be gradual,
Good.
so not to put unnecessary pressure on the kid. Plus,
Good.
some yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say,
And
look, just, I mean, I
mhm,
don't like, comparing too much, but look what Real Madrid did with Camavinga. Camavinga still isn't playing regularly. He's still being eased in, but his performance in the World Cup was extraordinary. He
mhm,
pocketed both Alvarez and Messi when he came on, and that's what gave France the impetus to go forward and draw the game. But he's not playing regularly yet. They ease
yeah,
them in bit by bit. Vinicius Junior took him 3, 4, 5 seasons to get into where he is now. To a certain extent, they really take their time, and we are always in a rush. We see a youngster, oh, he has to play. Rumors, oh, send him out on loan. Oh, so and so need to buy him, and all this nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Omari Hutchinson is a wonderful player, but don't push him to play game in, game out. If he gets a half every now and then, fantastic. Coming off the bench, that's where he should be this season, if at all. And then next season a bit more and a bit more, but just keep pushing him in, showing him the first team, getting him on the bench, getting him on to the end of, not making it. This is why we need quality squad depth. It's the lack of squad depth kind of one makes
mhm,
us overplay certain players, rush certain players, and it's all wrong. It's never comfortable if
Yeah,
if you're
it
like that.
doesn't work out usually. Again, this is Bob is coming, so I'm going to skip it. He's already in the on the panel. So, but if you haven't, please take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, this is Liam Lane saying hi to you and Kimso. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Koulibaly can leave. To be honest, I knew again, and probably again the mindsets of people like you, my friend, and others who are thinking Koulibaly hasn't. Again, he's been a flop at Chelsea, hasn't done well. To me, I think his start to life at Chelsea actually done quite well. If you paid attention to the numbers and his performances overall, I think he's done well. But we'll see. We're here to talk about it. I will let you know why I don't think he'd leave Chelsea Football Club. Let me see. Obacious Richardo says again, I hope we should think about the Fofana's recurring injuries rather than again predicting the Koulibaly to leave. Yes, exactly. We're thin in that area, actually. So it doesn't make any sort of sense to talk about Koulibaly leaving the club. But, that's the press. Because there are a few, again, because some sections of the fan base are talking, again, arguing that Koulibaly hasn't done well. He hasn't done well in the Premier League. So it's easy to start talking about the possibility of Koulibaly leaving. And people, again, that brings the clicks. When people see that, they click on it to read it, to find out what's going on, really. So, but we'll talk about it in a bit. Hope everyone is good. Escape me again, Trax. I hope you're doing well, too. And here's Liam Lane talking about, and again, a prime example of easing players in. He says, again, as an example of easing players into the team, Emma Hayes eased Lauren James into the first team slowly, and now she's on fire. You could say she's the most informed, actually, one of the most informed players in the women's team. When she moved from Manchester United, she didn't play for a while, actually. When she started playing, it was off the bench, and the process was gradual. And look how well she's doing now, showing how talented she is. So yeah, it makes sense. And something else I wanted to talk about quickly is the fact that, again, we're signing a lot of young players. We may not start seeing how that can help us have a sustainable success. Two things actually: young players and long-term contracts. And in football, when you keep a crop of players together for a while, usually again you see them start playing as a unit and achieve a lot together, and that will go a long way for us. But when you change teams every now and then, every 2 years, you make a lot of signings from outside the club. Again, you still achieve stuff, but usually you have a team that don't they don't quite play as a unit. But what we're doing here, I think, long term, we'll see a team that will be hard to beat by any other club in terms of what we'll be able to achieve and we'll be able to achieve sustained success. And I hope to see that with long-term manager. Hopefully, Potter will do well again and stay at the club for a long time. I hope so. At least I believe he will. As an Ivorian myself, I hope David Datro Fofana, I love saying his name, really. Turns out good. But we need to learn him out. No, we don't need to learn him out. Are you paying attention to the numbers we have in that area? The only recognized striker we have available right now is, what's his name, Aubameyang. And if it's not, in most games, he'd be practically useless. In games where we'd want our attackers to press and press well, he can't do that given his age. So we need Datro Fofana. If left for me, I'd say actually pair them both. Pair Aubameyang and Datro Fofana, because Fofana, you can say he's well equipped to be he's a hybrid striker. He likes to drop deep. He can play on the flanks, left or right, centrally. And he's not a selfish player. He can create chances too. And when we looked at his numbers, he scored 15 goals and has 3 assists. That's a good sign for me, even though he's a striker. So I wouldn't say let him go on loan. If he leave on loan, I know you, Kimso, quite well to know. In a few games when if Aubameyang gets injured or isn't doing well, we'd be the one to start questioning why did we let him go out on loan in the first place. And if you ask me, I'd say you're probably suggesting that because we didn't pay big money for him. I'd be paid if we're paying big money for him, you want him to stay because subconsciously to most people, they factor how much we pay for a player in their consideration of how good a player is. Unfortunately, that's the case, really. That's why the way we move on. I says Koulibaly isn't crazy enough for my liking. Yeah, exactly. So maybe you think it's not as you could say. I don't know if the term rugged is the correct term. He's not as what's the term with the word I'm looking for? Not physical, really. Aggressive. It's not as aggressive as Rudiger. But one thing I've told you before, you and I need to come. You need to come on the panel so we argue this. Is that he's more again? He's more again the most intelligent defender of the two. But Rudiger is again the more physical, more aggressive of the two. It's as simple as that. They're both good players, really. I really miss Rudiger. We all do miss him. Peace and blessings, coach. Again, please and peace and blessings. Bobby Koulibaly is a slug, really. Again, let him go and bring back Cole. Again, like I said, it was easy for those that you could say that are pushing this rumor to start talking start saying that Koulibaly is a failure because he gets him click because they get the senses that some section of the fan base believe that he hasn't done well. David Fofana played again in a weak league, which I said before, and you're saying the same thing now. Again, believe me, I think he will succeed in the Premier League. Maybe it will take a few games for him to to get used to the pace of the league and everything, but I think he'd do well. I don't think again him playing in the Norwegian league makes any difference. It wasn't there again. That was where what's his name Haaland. He started there, and look how much Man City had to pay for him. Even though we know there's something in the north of 90 million, if you ask me. But even if it is below that, that shows you the league doesn't really matter. He's a fine finisher if you've seen his highlights or watched him play. But that's by the way, and that mentality is really dangerous. Bobby, I don't know if you have anything to say about the mentality of the Chelsea fan base. If we don't pay big money for a player, they usually don't again believe the player is good enough. But one thing is sure, I want to say quickly is this: I think the fact that we're paying just 10 million euros, which you could argue, I think should be around less than 10 million pounds, and his age, the fact that many people are not expecting too much of him, I think that lessens the pressure. He comes in as an underdog. He comes in as somebody only a few people believe can do it in the Premier League, and he gets the job done. No pressure. Bobby, whenever you want to come in, you can come in and talk about again the mentality of the Chelsea fan base. That when we don't pay big money for players, they don't expect that player to do well. Brooklyn Rain, thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. We have 18 likes already. And believe me, again, I appreciate that. If you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Brooklyn says here, again, it's not young players are pressured because, again, there will always be pressure no matter when they got thrown onto the pitch. That's the truth. Again, it's about find out if they are the red gem that can handle that pressure no matter. Excuse me for the cough. You made a good point here, but again, it's important to take it gradual. But sometimes necessity can force the club to feel the player to hasten the integration process. Again, it causing problems, overplaying the players sometimes. Again, put in unnecessary pressure on the player. But I get it. As I was saying, balance is key to ensure that the process is done well, not to put, again, unnecessary pressure on a very young player to ensure that they keep developing, or to ensure even to them not to be a problem for themselves by feeling like they've arrived. Yeah, because more importantly, at this age, you need to make them understand they're still learning, which means, again, you don't throw them into the fold and keep them there. No, you need to make them understand that they have to earn their place in the team. You need to make them understand that they're still learning. You need to make them understand they still have to work hard, because that's the way you do it. If they feel like they've arrived, it can get into their head. Given again the way they reason at a very young age. And again, Barton Lambeka says again, hi coach, those players rejecting contracts, let them leave. The club should go for the replacement. Here's the thing. It is business for all the parties involved. It is business for the player as much as it is business for the club. All parties want something of great value. The club wants to keep the player for long term and tie them down with a particular contract, pay them a certain money for for a duration of time. The player himself wants an opportunity that if he starts doing well, they want an opportunity to, after 2, 3, 4 years, or at least 3 years, they want the opportunity to say, I want a new contract or go elsewhere to earn more money. It is business for all parties involved. So again, when the player still has like 2, 3 years left on their contracts, usually the club again starts talking. But that doesn't mean they offer the player what they're asking at that point. There's still time for them to say, okay, you rejected the other offer. Now we're coming back to you with this offer. Do you want that? So there's still time to negotiate. It only gets dangerous when the player has just 2 years left on their contract. In the case of Mendy, I think he still has 3, 4 years on his contract. In the case of, again, what's his name? Mason Mount. In 2023, he'd have just 2 years left on his contract. There's still a bit of time to find common ground and come and get it sorted out. So yeah, so usually the club ain't in a hurry. It's a negotiation process. Maybe that will help. So you go in with an offer to see if the player takes it. If they don't, you rethink the offer and see maybe the players offering something better to the player. So if that makes any sort of sense to you, again, if you're watching, thank you for 20 likes already. Take us again to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And remember, we're going to do a Christmas giveaway today. We'll do it 3 days, a $50 giveaway each day. That's important again, and I'll explain why. That's a money budgeted for the Roman Abramovich a tribute contest, which the contestants were in that series. I had to yank that one, but again, I'm somebody that if I don't give it away, I will not be happy. So I will still do it. Broken into three places, and will be shared in 3 days. Yes, again, leave a top experience a CB. Go and bring back a young CB that can even get into the Brighton, that cannot even get into the Brighton team. That will really help us get back up off the table. Like Bobby has always highlighted, we're thin, especially in the defensive area. If anything, bring back Colwell, keep him at the club. But I'm not sure if we're able to bring him back until the end of the season. So it wouldn't make any sort of sense, to let Koulibaly go, an experienced player like Liam Lane has mentioned here, and bring back Colwell, who is inexperienced and even can't even get into the Brighton team. So it doesn't make any sort of sense. If anything, bring him and have him learn from Koulibaly and Silva and the more experienced players. Look how quickly Chalobah is maturing. It's not down to him being a good player alone. It's down to him playing alongside Koulibaly and Thiago Silva. So again, we must be careful how we're calling to let players go. And you can see at one point we looked back and we were asking questions. Why did we let what's his name, Ampadu leave alone in the first place? Because had he been part of the squad when we struggled again with injuries in our defensive line, we wouldn't have struggled that much because he's capable of leading the back line. But that's by the way, we move on. Again, please, keep liking the video to help us reach more people. I didn't see his experience against City. Really. Again, you're just probably expecting too much of him. You're expecting him to be another Rudiger for you. And when you're not seeing that, subconsciously, you're judging him unfairly, and probably concluding that he's not good enough. Because I've read a few of your comments today, which to me says, again, you just don't like Koulibaly that much because he's not as aggressive as Rudiger. Or probably because you were one of those who were thinking was signing him to be a like-for-like replacement for Antonio Rudiger. And when that's not forthcoming, when you're not saying that, you disappointed and subconsciously factoring that into your judgment of how good Koulibaly is. But I need you to rethink that, really. Go look at the numbers of the games that Koulibaly has played for us. Most of these guys say this about Fofana, cost again 12 million in African, and I'm not sure because he's African. I think to most it's about again how much you're paying for him. Yeah, but there's a chance some people are saying he's not good enough because he's African, but I'm not going to go into that. More importantly, you can say predominantly some don't believe he's good enough for Chelsea Football Club because of how much we're paying for him. That's usually the case. Again, 23 votes and 23 likes. Okay, that's on par, and I like that. Again, but we can do better with the like. Our future looks clean. Not gonna lie, that's the truth. Again, we have the future will be great. We won't be spending too much money in the future. In the transfer market. And again, the players were signing are all exceptional talents. The youngsters were signed so far, and in a year or two, some of them in a year will be ready again to be part of the first team. So, and they're all in a on a long-term contract, which means when things click, they be together for a while. And in football, keeping a crop of players together for a while again can help you build a powerful team, again, a winning machine, if you want to phrase it that way, with a good manager at the helm of things. I'm great. Again, thanks again of following the stream. Thank you so much, Button Lambeka. I appreciate you doing that. Here we have again the new Drogba, common Dr. Fofana. This is not me saying that he's a better player than Didier Drogba. Drogba himself, again, was an exceptional striker for us, was an exceptional player, and a technically gifted, highly technically gifted player. But it's looking like Dr. Fofana is more technically gifted. Again, he's a good dribbler. He has pace, can play on the flanks, can play centrally too. I think he's different. Let me just say he's different in terms of, again, he's more technically gifted, and also you could argue a better dribbler than Didier Drogba, worse than. But this is not me saying he's a better player than Didier Drogba. No, he's not. Players have things that make them different from other players. Maybe again, if that maybe that will help my comment not to come across as me saying he's better than Didier Drogba. But again, if we're being honest, he has the potential to do better than Didier Drogba because he's still very young. He's just 20 years old. Tyler Adams is a baller. Give 50 million to Leeds, and we can have him in. Again, I like him, his profile. I think he's one player we should consider. I think I have to add him to my list of, again, to the defensively minded deep line midfielders. I have Amrabat. I have again Vanessa. I have again I have to add Tyler Adams to that list because he did quite well on the biggest stage of football, which was at the World Cup. He was United States' best player, if you ask me, because in that midfield, he did quite well. He read the game well, broke up opposition play quite well. His tackles are clean, and he has that leadership quality in him that you want in a player, a deep line midfielder like him. But I don't know if we're looking at him. But again, for me, the list in this order, it is Vanessa, maybe I think Tyler Adams, given the fact that he's played in the Premier League. Then coming down again, Amrabat. Those are three players. Amrabat, you could say, the cheapest of the three, which will also get the job done for us. But I have Vanessa at the top of my list, given his dribble ability. He can match Kovacic's dribble again in terms of dribble abilities. Plus, he can also fulfill that Kovacic's hybrid role of 8 and 6 when you're playing a double pivot or 2 6s. And also, again, he reads the game quite well. He's a good passer of the ball, and his tackles are all clean. So that's why he's top in my list. Even what's his name, the Mexican international Alvarez isn't actually. Again, he's down the pecking order for me. But that's why we'll move on. Again, if you're just joining, if you haven't, we have 27 likes. We should be doing better than that. Please take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And Bobby, anytime if you're listening, if you want to come in, I know you're probably at work. And Murray Edwards says, who in their right mind is suggesting Koulibaly should leave? If Levi Kowa is so good, why is he not playing at Brighton? Koulibaly is an excellent defender. You could say this is the delicious comment of the day. This is really the delicious comment out of the. It doesn't make any sort of sense, but that's Chelsea for you. Again, here's the thing. This is not me making excuses for Koulibaly, but I'm going to try to explain why it seemed as if he didn't start well at Chelsea Football Club. Listen, the defensive line of every football team is actually, talk about, again, assembling a team being a puzzle. That is especially true for the defensive line of a team. And again, when Koulibaly came in, we made, again, how many changes in the defensive line? About 2 changes. Even a single defense can cause a defensive line to, again, to exhibit a disjointed performance. And that's the case. Again, even those games where you think he had a bad game, go check it. He's actually one of those guys that progressed the ball better than most guys we had in the team. He's had a good start to life at Chelsea Football Club, if we're being honest with the numbers or anything. But that's, by the way. Go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, sorry, Coach. I am working. I'm kind of in and out. I'll stay on, but when I get back, I'll give you a shout to let you know I've connected.
No problem. And I understand. I knew that was why I said whenever you want to come in, just come in. No problem. So for the case again, we've been judging. We have not been judging Koulibaly objectively, and most people didn't pay attention to the reason why. As we saw again a bad defensive performance. Yes, he had a red card. Maybe at that point he wasn't up to the pace of the Premier League. Other than the red card, he's had. Honestly, pay attention to his numbers. He's been one of our better defenders, actually. But that's why the way I'm moving from it. We have every right to judge him. But again, I beg you to please, when you judge players, judge them objectively. Try to see the reason for the problems. Then you have a better understanding. You could say better way of, concluding whether a player is good or not. Remember, Koulibaly is playing in the Premier League only a short while. You have to allow him to get used to the pace and physicality of the game, just like, again, it's allowed for others. Even, again, to me, even at that, I still think he started well. Even, again, if you're talking about Koulibaly, that was the time Koulibaly was absolute crap, really. Even he himself admitted, which was why the club was reluctant to offer a new contract to him, which was why he didn't play that much under Frank Lampard. And when interviewed about it, he said, yes, I was all those things people said I was then. But he improved under Thomas Tuchel. So let's, again, be mindful of how we judge players and just jump to conclusion that a player has done badly or isn't good enough. But that's, by the way, the current topic is David Datro Fofana. I'm excited about him, and I hope to see again replicate the form he's shown at Motley at Chelsea Football Club. Chalobah is better than Koulibaly. Nope, I wouldn't say that at this point. They're 2 different type of players. You could say I don't want to get into that argument really. Koulibaly is more experienced. Again, he's more of a leader than Chalobah is at this point. Chalobah has improved significantly, has become more calm on the ball. But in terms of leading the back line, I'm not sure he's at this point shown he's capable of doing that, or even measuring Koulibaly in that aspect. And as we progress into the show, please don't forget, we're going to do a giveaway today. Again, we'll do it in 3 consecutive days, and that's me showing appreciation to the followers. But that's the budget, again, the budget for the Roman Abramovich tribute contest, which the contestants were in that are serious. So, but again, I will give away the budget. Tune says Vadio again, and the midfielder and the midfield anchor seem what big money. Our team currently has no spine from back to front. Spine is important, especially in the midfield area. We don't have spine, but even if we rectified the issue in the midfield area, more importantly, we need creative midfielders. I'm going to keep preaching this because I understand how important it is. Even if we have Cristiano Ronaldo, Robert Lewandowski, again, the best of the finishers in world football, more importantly, if the supplies, again, are not diversified, if the supplies are only coming from the flanks, if we don't have, again, a footballer so capable of picking up the runs of, again, creative attackers, or attackers who are good runners, or attackers who, again, who know how to make the most of spaces, the slightest of spaces they see on the pitch, then we'll only be able to create chances from the flanks, on the carpet, or in the air, and that is predictable. Which means when teams are able to stop us getting in the crosses from the flanks, we're done. We're practically done. So that's why it's important we get creative players. I think we should actually prioritize getting players who are capable of creating clear-cut chances from central areas, players in the mode of Cesc Fàbregas, Juan Mata, to help us diversify our chance creation so that it will be very difficult to stop us, and double players who are capable of reaching double digits in terms of time chance creation by the end of the season. Because common sense says the more chances we create, the more goals we score, and the better we do. It's as simple as that. I know that I'm saying that because I see a lot of people that will come and say, yeah, we created a lot of chances, but the issue we have, even my brother Liam Lane says that, is putting away the chances. But the truth remains, if we double that number, we'll double the number of goals we'll score. Again, it's simple mathematics real there. Tune, thank you so much for that comment. If you're just joining, if you haven't, please do take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you so much. And please share the stream on whatever social media platform where you have presence. The more people will have, again, the more, again, fun the show will be. This is a player, again, Onahi, again, is a player I don't know so much. If you can tell us more about him, I'd like to research him and talk about him. CR7 is going to Al Nassr. Who wouldn't? When the amount that they're going to pay him when he was quoted, that was when I say it'd be stupid for him not to go there. I think his last dance on the popular stage, on football popular stage, was to try to win the World Cup, and that didn't happen for him. Again, forget about Champions League. I don't think he was, again, really serious about going for it. When an offer such as what we're hearing, the amount that's being quoted per season for him, oh no, again, he probably already made up his mind he will be going to Al Nassr. So again, I don't blame him really. Let's see again. Let's start a campaign for Chelsea FC to recruit Victor Roku. Again, I don't know him that much really, but I'll research him. He popped up on our radar a week ago. He's special and gives me Douglas Costa vibes. 85 million buyer clause, but we can beat it down. I don't think the club will be spending a lot of money on players that much, since we won about 3 players. And if we'll go for the big name players, we'll go for instance, Declan Rice, again, and the player in question, 85 million euros, which should be around at least 60 million pounds plus. And then go for Enzo Fernandez. Yeah, I don't see that the club spending that much money in a single window, especially the general transfer window. But we'll see just quickly. Tyler Adams bust Bellingham. Yep, not Bellingham alone. The double pivot of the English midfielder on the day. Onahi box-to-box midfielders. Again, box-to-box midfielders are well suited to the way Graham Potter likes to approach the game. So maybe, yeah, we need one. But I'm hearing that we're looking at Romeo Lavia, which probably I think Graham Potter would prefer Romeo Lavia, given that he's played under him. His coachman is a player he knows quite well, and probably wasn't he the person that signed him for Brighton? Let me know if that isn't the case. We have 32 likes. If you haven't, please take a second to drop a like on the stream. We have 32 likes and 44 votes on the poll. I think, again, the likes should at least come close to the poll, but that's by the way. Quickly, I'm going to read a few, and I'll get to the bottom again of the chat, what we have in the chat. And once we get into 2-hour mark, we will do the giveaway. Amrabat is going to Liverpool. Then we should go for Benessa. To me, again, like I said, my list of deep line midfielders who are defensively minded who can help shield our defensive line in this order is, again, Benessa, Tyler Adams, then Amrabat. Amrabat, the cheaper of the 3 probably, and again would do well. Koulibaly is struggling with the pace of our Premier League, where Rudiger really did not. That's a good argument, but again, intelligence, I prefer intelligence over pace. Intelligence and technical ability, he has them both. Those are the 2 factors that, again, those are the 2 reasons why Thiago Silva is still playing at a very high level, even at his age. If his body can still carry him, he'd be 40 plus and still play and still be one of the best defenders in the world, because to him, it's about intelligence. It's about his ability to read the game. It's about his technical ability. You'd make a move, but before you do, he'd anticipate what you're capable of doing, because there's hardly any type of player you'd mention that he hasn't played against or played with. So again, I prefer, again, forget about the pace, intelligence, and technical ability to me come first. Seriously, I think this guy will succeed again in Chelsea. No mistake, but I think Chelsea need a good box-to-box midfielder. I haven't actually thought about that. I think Graham Potter prefers a box-to-box midfielder rather than a traditional DM. Had it been when N'Golo Kante was so younger and so when he was still doing a lot of running without getting injured every now and then, I think he'd be a perfect fit for, again, Graham Potter's approach to the game. But let's see what happens. Tune Chalobah also lacks acceleration. You seem to be a good football. You understand football quite well. But overall, again, he's a good player. And again, I see matures. His play will become even more polished and he'll become a better player. So thank you for saying that. Nkunku is the next big superstar. He's going to be a Chelsea legend. I hope that happens. Some unfair comparison between Nkunku and Timo Werner, which again, I'm preparing a video for that. They're two different players, but one thing they have in common is pace. Positioning on the pitch, and on the day they're both fine finishes. But it's an unfair comparison. Nkunku is different from Timo Werner, and I'm not going to go into the details as to how they differ. Chalobah is good, but some years to come, and he's a ball player, not team leader at the moment. Yes, thank you very much. That's my argument. He doesn't have that leadership quality that Koulibaly has in him, but he's maturing quicker than I actually anticipated he would, probably because he's playing alongside Koulibaly and Thiago Silva. So he's done quite well for himself, and I'm glad we didn't let him go when the rumors were swirling that we're going to let him go. Rudiger did struggle during Lampard's time as manager. Thank you for saying that. And even he accepts that. He's struggled again quite a lot, actually. You could say Koulibaly himself hasn't even struggled as much as Rudiger did. Again, if we're being honest. But that's, by the way, guys, if you're in the chat, I don't understand why we should have 47 votes on the poll and just 37 likes. Please, if you haven't, it takes just a second to participate in the poll. And it takes equally, again, even half a second to click the like button to help us reach more people. And I appreciate that. Thank you. So we move on from that for Fofana news. And here, this is something that my brother Liam Lane shared with me that I like so much. The new Reece James banner for the shed end is ready for his return after Christmas, paid for and designed by Chelsea supporters. Here's the thing. I'm going to say this. There was a time I was concerned that Reece James was going to leave Chelsea Football Club. That was when Man City, it was rumored that Man City was interested in securing his signature, when it was rumored that, when we were sensing, when I started sensing that maybe Real Madrid are trying to top him up. That was when he and what's his name, Vinicius Jr. followed each other. But it was Max from Button Ballers YouTube channel. Again, a good man, a great individual, and an honest person. So if you haven't, please take some time. Go check Button Ballers YouTube channel. It's spelled BURTON BALLERZ. Button Ballers YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe. I call him the Chelsea Encyclopedia. He's followed Chelsea for a while, knows the club very well, and you will not be disappointed if you go check out his channel. So this is beautiful. I think Reece James is worth this. It's worth the banner. I haven't heard it on 2 occasions that I've witnessed the club, experienced the club, again, negotiate new contract with him. It is always like this. 2 of them didn't take time. The first, again, contract he got after he returned from, was it Wigan, on loan from Wigan or whatever club it was then, I don't remember. It didn't take time. The moment we hear the club again is discussing a new deal with him, within a week it's done. Oh, again, it didn't take, let me just say, it didn't take time and it's done. And for the second time also, it didn't take time, it's done. This is a guy who loves football. talk about somebody being Chelsea through and through. He does love the club quite a lot. And argue what you like. Again, more importantly, because he loves the club quite, again, so much, that's the reason why it hasn't attended time. Again, on the 2 occasions that were popular to us, again, it hasn't taken us time. It didn't take time for him to accept the new deal and be happy with it and say how he loves the club. Okay, just thank you again. In a bit, let me share the link with you. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I'm happy. So if anybody deserves a banner, again, for the players we have at the club this month, at this point, it is Thiago Silva, it is him. Who else? I'm not going to go into thinking about others, but these are the 2 that tops my list of players who deserves a banner, that deserve banners again at Chelsea Football Club. James, again, he's the future leader for the club, and I hope he stays at Chelsea Football Club as long as possible. And I can't appreciate him enough. I would like to join the stream. Emmanuel, I've sent you the list. Sorry, it took time. I wasn't paying attention, really. So we'll move on from Reece James. Again, this is Benfica. This is us. Now, let's talk about the price tag of, again, Enzo Fernandez. As much as many Chelsea fans like him, I think he's really expensive. He's really, really expensive. Benfica have rejected a 100 million euros offer for Enzo Fernandez. The offer did not come from Liverpool. It did not come from Chelsea, Man City, Man United, or PSG, or Real Madrid are all also, okay, this is all the clubs being mentioned. Again, it said did not come from Liverpool. So probably, so it could be Chelsea, it could be Man City, Man United, it could be PSG, it could be Real Madrid, since these guys are all interested, but it did not specifically say the offer did not come from these guys. But it says it did not come from Liverpool. To me, if they rejected an offer of 100 million euros, yeah, which means it would take something extraordinary to get them to sell him. So it brings up the argument how much I think the club is going to spend in the January transfer window. I don't think we're going to be spending that much. Plus, if we're being honest, we still have Lewis Hall, who's capable of playing in the midfield area. We still have Carly Chukwuemeka, who's a midfielder. We still have.
Why is Liverpool going for this player? Liverpool's midfield is full. Yeah, I can't see what this is about, to be honest.
Yeah, but if you pay attention, Bobby, it looks like a club. It's again, he doesn't like what's his name, the guy that played for them yesterday. I think he's again maybe
Alcantara. Cavalier?
No, he likes Alcantara. He likes Thiago Alcantara.
So,
he doesn't like what's the guy they paid? I think it was 60 million then. Is he the African, the Ivory Coast international? What's his name? I don't think he likes him. I don't think he likes Fabinho that much anymore. If you see the way he uses them. Sorry?
It's not about what he likes. These guys are contracted. Can you shift them?
But still, that's how he changes the team. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Bobby.
This is all media talk. You have contracted players, you've got them in your squad. Before you start buying, who are you selling? Are you just going to buy for buying's sake? I don't think it was them that made that bid. If it was, I'll be very, very surprised because they don't have the space in the squad. Yeah, he may not like the player, then sell him if you can. The guy's under contract. They're all on big wages. You can't just offload players because the media want you to have certain other players. It doesn't work like that. So I don't think they have room for these midfielders they're linked to at all.
Here's the thing, Bobby. If you paid attention to his talk, to the way to his press conferences during the course of the season so far, he's talked about the importance of Liverpool signing a new midfielder. I think maybe they had an injury issue then, or maybe again because they don't have midfielders. So you could say they don't have traditional DMs. They have more of CMs than DMs. Maybe again that has exposed his defensive line a lot. So that's probably he's looking at trying to get players who are more physical, quicker, maybe who are capable of shielding his defensive line. I think they really need a midfielder. Probably will let a few go. Is it Keita? What's the name of that player? Did they sign him for Leipzig? I don't remember the name of the player.
Keita, that's another one.
So Naby Keita, right? Yeah, I think he's not using him as I expect him to be using him. He only uses him in cup games. Again, I think he let a few, either two of them go or one of them. So, and he's been known to sign players and stack them up. Really, that's who he
Yeah,
is.
you
If you
only
paid
let
attention
players
to the,
go if there's somewhere to go to.
mm,
You know, it's all very well we say let them go. Who's going to buy them? Who's going to pay their wages?
yeah,
It
that's the
doesn't. You
truth.
know, I don't see them. Yeah, I guess they could do, but you know, they're creating problems for themselves. You know, they
Hmm.
need to. You know, their midfield is not as deplenished as Chelsea's. Yeah, Chelsea has people, but they're not real midfielders. You know, they can afford to let these people go. You know, but I don't see that for Liverpool at all.
Yeah,
And as for the amount of money we will spend in the January transfer window, I'm not sure. I think anything can happen. These guys are willing to spend money if they feel it's a worthy investment. Chelsea fans have put limitations on these owners that haven't put limitations on themselves. They have the FFP.
but there are
Uh,
limits to how much they can spend to not get into trouble. Really.
well, there's the FFP free run that they have at the moment, which allows them to spend, although they have been using that. And you know, there are projections like the stadium and things. There's space for Chelsea to spend money. They're competitive. I think people are still stuck in the Roman era, where when Roman came, he was blowing everybody out of the water. Then you
Hmm.
know the likes the countries came and owned clubs, and you know they then kind of dwarfed him. This
Yeah.
conglomerate can compete with these countries. They can compete. You better believe it. And you know whatever restrictions there are on any of these countries from buying players is the same with Chelsea. And should Chelsea choose to buy a player with ridiculous sums of money, they can quite simply do it. This is a man that was looking at getting Neymar, Ronaldo, and you know flirting with Messi. What does that tell you? I'm not worried. I think you know they'll spend what they think they need to spend.
Hmm.
Their strategy isn't to just go and waste money. Of course not. They're a business, but if they have to, they will spend it to support the business. But at the moment, their strategy is young players, so they don't have to spend ridiculous money. And if they do, it's on a one-off marquee, which I think is very much a strategy. But you can't tell me if in January suddenly the opportunity comes to land Vardio that these guys will start talking about money. They will drop what's needed to get that player because they've been after him for ages and they know it's competitive. Um, so we just have to wait and see. We
Hmm.
really do. This could
Yeah,
be
we
a
have to.
very,
Yeah,
very interesting January transfer window
yeah.
because other
Let's.
clubs
Mhm.
other clubs are looking to do business, and that's when the competition comes in, and that's when the money starts getting spent.
Yeah, I agree with you, but let's see what they do. Again, the truth remains, Emmanuel, before I continue, I've sent you the link. Again, the truth remains for the case of Enzo Fernandez, whatever happens, he's not going to come cheap. And I don't think we should actually prioritize signing him. I think most people are raving about him given his performance at the World Cup. To me, that alone is not really enough to say, again, do well in the Premier League or, again, and we're not sure where Chukwuemeka at this point fits into the team. Casadei and some young talents, even Andres Santos, we've signed. So there's a chance we may not actually be serious about signing him. Even though again, the rumors are that we're interested in signing him. He's so young too. You could say he's in the same bracket as again. No, again, what's his name? Andres Santos is just 18. I'm sure Enzo is older, but Santos looks like he can get the job done as a box-to-box midfielder, which you could say traditionally that's what Enzo is really. So it wouldn't make any sort of sense paying 100 million euros for him. But that's by the way. I'll move on. I'd really want to talk, get Bobby to talk about all the nonsense that are out there regarding Koulibaly's future. But before I move on, we have 68 votes. Again, participation. 68 people have participated in the poll, and we have just 45 likes. We should be doing better than 45 likes. If you took your second to participate in the poll, it equally would take you just half a second, at most a second, to click on the like button. That goes a long way for the channel. So thank you so much, guys. Let me see what we have here quickly. Coach, again, not culturally. You know what? Let's try and discuss a segment like the players we bought under 50 million and over 50 million, and see which did better again at Chelsea. That will be eye-opening for Chelsea fans. I think it will be because you don't have to always pay over-the-board money to get a player. Sometimes, again, not paying too much money for a player it's good for them. Less pressure on them, because when you pay big money for a player, they're well acquainted with how much that's paid for them, and that weighs on them. Again, they're pressured to perform, to measure, again, to produce value for the money paid for them. But that's, by the way, I think this is Benfica trying to trick us into a Darwin Núñez type price tag. No way. We should. That's why, again, I'm all for it. I agree with you. They can let them meet up, but we shouldn't pay anything close to that amount, really. Even half of it, everything just, again, it's just down to how well he did at the World Cup. You can say most people probably didn't know who he was until knew nothing about him until the World Cup. Again, if you watch and remember, in the 2-hour mark, we do a $50 giveaway. Again, and I hope you stay for that. Says again, Chelsea's a form always seem to drop when Reece James is out injured. He's Chelsea through and through, and the fans love him. We sing Reece James. He's one of our own. We don't sing that for just anyone. Yeah, that's the truth. Again, if anybody deserves a banner, he's one of those. And I love him that much. And like I said, on 2 occasions that I've followed, again, contract renewal for him, it went like this. No, again, it didn't take much. That shows you how much he loves the club. Again, I've seen that one too. Please, guys, keep liking the video. We need 2 more likes to get it to 50 likes, and we already have 71 votes, which means we should have at least 60 likes, but we just have 49 likes. Please, again, keep liking the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Again, I think to me, again, is a fantastic what was again a player in Chelsea defense. So no way. Alia Toure, thank you so much for finding time to join the show. I appreciate that. Yeah, why you ask him? Let's see. Reece is a real footballer. He can play all positions. If you follow his playing career from academy, he started as forward and midfield. No wonder his finishing is something that, again, attackers will actually be jealous of. His finishing ability in midfield before switching to defense. Even he's everywhere in the defense. He can play, again, as in the right center back position. He can play the right back position. He can play the right wing back position. He can play as a 6, really. So he's a fine player, and yet he's one of the most humble players that I've seen, really. Good day, Mr. Speaker. Press the like button. Yes, thank you, people. Keep liking the video. It looks like we're going to hit 100 today. We're at 52 already, so thank you so much. And remember, once we get into 2 hours into the show, we will do a giveaway. Now, coming back to the panel, I have Emmanuel on the panel. Emmanuel, how are you doing today?
I'm great, Coach. How's everyone?
Brilliant. I can't complain. Again, it's the festive period, a few days before Christmas, and I love me some Christmas. And I hope you're looking forward to it too. And again, I'm going to say to everyone, let's keep praying for Roger. Roger is one of the regular panelists here. He lost his mom a few days ago, and he told me, and I sent him a message yesterday. I haven't heard back from him. I hope he's doing well. So please keep praying for Roger, for God to give him the strength to bear the loss of his mom. Now, coming to you, Emmanuel, you have anything you want to speak about that you've heard us talked about? You want to talk about the Rudiger debate, where some people are saying he hasn't done well at Chelsea, and there are rumors that Inter Milan are looking at him? Or do you want something else you want to talk about?
Well, first, I can talk about Koulibaly. I think it's Koulibaly you're trying to talk about.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think he's a decent defender and he has the standards to succeed at Chelsea. We saw in his first game against Tottenham when he had Conte in the team to protect the back five. He was very solid. He had a very decent game. So I think a lot of people are judging him because we do not have that still in midfield to protect our defense. Because the defense cannot do everything. You need that midfield to provide the balance that you need, and then you will have your defensive players to thrive. So I think Koulibaly is a very good defender, and he will succeed at Chelsea if we take the right steps to build our midfield in a way that we can challenge against strong oppositions.
Yeah, Koulibaly again. I think we've seen him play centrally. Was it against Wolves? He was the one that led the back line. On that day, we saw the best of him at Chelsea Football Club. He's not again. He's not again. Is what they call again. Left-sided defender in terms of when we play back three. If you play him there, he still play well. But centrally, he's that player that's capable of leading the back line when Thiago Silva isn't playing. Or you can pair them both in a back four, and you have an excellent defensive line. And like you mentioned, that's again, I'm happy that you paid attention to what really happened. We haven't had proper protection in the midfield area since he joined us, and he's an overlapping defender. He likes to overlap. He likes to carry the ball deep into the midfield, and sometimes actually closer to the final third. And it just seemed, excuse me for the cough, it just seemed as if people are not paying attention to what's going on, to really the causes of the problem we had in those games where it seemed as if he hasn't played well. If you're paying attention to the numbers also after games, he orchestrates more vertical passes, sometimes even more than our midfielders. That's how it impacts the game for us. But unfortunately, most people don't see it that way. I think he's not going anywhere, really. Those are just absolute nonsense. Let me see if I'll find that. I think the whole thing probably may have started with Inter Milan feeling like he hasn't done well at Chelsea and are looking to see if we want to sell him. My friend Vince here reports Kalidou Koulibaly is being considered at Inter Milan as a replacement for Milan Skriniar, who is off contract in June. Again, maybe they're trying because we want Skriniar. Maybe there's a chance we've come to an agreement that Skriniar joins us on a free or something like that, and they're trying to see again if they can get Koulibaly in return. But that's even at that doesn't make any sort of sense. But if you look at what we have here, you'd see some fans saying sell. So now they don't just like him, or maybe don't understand football that well enough to know that those games that some of us feel like he had a bad game. Again, that it wasn't really his fault. And this person here responded by saying, we're not going to see the best of Koulibaly with three at the back. He said that himself. If Potter is not reverting to a back four, selling him at a profit will be ideal in this person's opinion. Again, if we're going to continue with a system where a hybrid approach of, again, switching to a back three when we attack, but a back four when we defend, he's capable of doing well in a hybrid system or a hybrid structure. But Koulibaly hasn't. Again, it's been a good start to life for him at Chelsea actually, but I just don't know where the hate is coming from. But that's, by the way. Let's look at the next topic we have here, and we'll move on from that. Really, this one here, I really wanted to talk about this one. This is Behad Igali. Let me just say Igali. His first name, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. He was interviewed, and this is part of the interview where he said, "You've got to win. You have to do that to have commercial success." The reason I felt like it's important we talk about this comment here is that this connects the importance of winning to commercial success. So even if they're profit focused, I think they understand that winning is key to attracting big name sponsors. Winning is key to club remaining a big brand. So you can't just say your profit, even if you're profit focused, if the club stops winning, the commercial aspect of the whole thing of the business will suffer. I don't know, Emmanuel, do you have anything to add to that?
Definitely. I think commercial success and profitability will always be key for the new ownership of the team because they're investing a lot of money. But I think they're also looking forward to winning. We saw this gone transfer window that they invested a lot of money into the squad. They brought players in like Marco Corella, Wesley Fofana. So we know that they are willing to spend and they know it's important for us to win. So, and signing Nkunku, investing a lot of money into Nkunku, pursuing players like Rafael Leao, Vadio, it shows that the new ownership knows that we have to win. So I don't think we have to be afraid of anything. I think we're on the right path.
Are you not concerned, again, from what, this is just a follow-up question from what you just said. And by the way, great response. Are you not concerned about the immediate future? Again, looking at what we have, because again, what like Roger would did say on the panel here, if we miss out on top 4 this year, it will be difficult to get back in because it's jam-packed up there. Arsenal will most likely, the least they will achieve this season is they will remain in the top 4. Newcastle, I don't see them dropping out there because they will strengthen this window. Liverpool have picked up form. I don't see Tottenham dropping out easily from there. And a lot of these teams will strengthen this January, come January. And Rogers, again, said something important. If we miss out this year and miss out next year, it will be even more difficult to get back in. And first of all, again, I'm going to repeat myself. If we miss out from top 4 this year, it will be difficult to get back in, which means participating in the next edition of the Champions League, we have to win it. So given what I just said, aren't you concerned? Are you not concerned about the club's immediate future? Because it doesn't look like we're doing anything to sort that out, really.
I'm very concerned about the club's immediate future, but looking at the transfer market and where we are with a new ownership, I think there's not a lot we can do because we're in a process of rebuilding, and rebuilding can be hard. It can be very hard. Maybe we'll have to sacrifice not being in the Champions League for one season and then restarting the entire process. That's the process of rebuilding. We saw Arsenal rebuilding. We saw Liverpool rebuilding. And I think the owners are looking at not making a lot of panic transfers and bringing in guys that would not be a part of the long-term future because most of our targets are players that the teams were not allowed to move in January. I don't think we're going to get Rafael Leao in January. We cannot get Vadio in January. We cannot get a backup for Reece James. So I think we're hoping that our players will return from injury and be able to push for a top 4 finish. I think if we have Kanti coming back in February, we have Ben Chilwell coming back, Reece James coming back, Wesley Fofana, we should have a very strong squad to push for a top 4 finish. But if we do not get a top 4 finish, I don't want a lot of fans to panic because we're in a rebuilding period. We have tried to rebuild over the past years, but it haven't been successful. We saw Chelsea try to rebuild under Frank Lampard. We brought in guys like Kai Havertz and other guys. We won the Champions League, but we're not where we want to be. So we have been postponing this total overhaul for a couple of seasons. And I think we should not panic. If we don't get top 4, we should not panic. It's going to give us a tough time in recruiting top talents, but I think we have to start from there with the ambition of the new owners and the amount of money we're willing to pay to recruit players. I think we will be fine.
We will be fine, but how soon are we going to be fine? That's my concern, really. Here's the thing: the future, long-term future, is set. Given the number of again young players were signed, given that we have a good structure in place now, so the operational aspect of the club will be seamless. It has been streamlined, given that we have a good structure, scouting structure, we have technical director and all that. But yeah, I don't think. I think the biggest mistake. This is not me saying that Graham Potter is a bad manager. The biggest mistake was to let Thomas Tuchel go. I think that was a bad strategy. Had we let him at least finish the season and then to ensure stability, because that happened off the back of us again going through all the sales conundrum, the sanctions and all that. struggles of players wanting to leave and all those nonsense. So we would have been better off letting him stay to ensure that things stabilize before bringing in a new manager. Because it doesn't make any sort of sense that we spent money signing players for a particular manager and then letting him go, bringing in a new manager. To me, that compounded the issue of the rebuild process. And the rebuild process doesn't have to hurt that much. It makes it a long season, but it doesn't have to be that long. Yes, we have to suffer, but we don't have to die. We don't have to die in the process because we're rebuilding. Man City had a rebuild. Again, they had, from the Italian manager before Pellegrini. Who came second? Was it Pellegrini? Before Pep Guardiola. Again, exactly. Yeah, exactly. In all those times, they were strategic about it. And again, in the case of Pellegrini, actually, they let him know he's going to leave come the end of the season. And he knew before time. And again, there was never a time, did they miss out of top 4 any of those times? They didn't. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I think we were drastic. Again,
we were very drastic. I think it's a big mistake on Todd Bowley in the new management, the new leadership part, to sack Thomas Tuchel, looking at where he took us from, how he stuck with us in the transition period, how he stuck with the team, where he took us, won the Champions League. I live to regret that every day that we had to lose a manager like Thomas Tuchel, because if you're rebuilding a squad, you need a manager who has a track record of winning. And Thomas Tuchel fits the bill perfectly. So losing him is a big blow. And I think the owners have recognized that. I've seen a couple of links linking us to Luis Enrique, who has been sacked from Spain. A lot of people are talking about him coming through to Chelsea. That means that the owners have recognized that they made a big mistake, but now we have to deal with what we have.
That is if the rumors are true.
Yeah, but I think the new owners are going to stick with Porter in the short term, and we can have hope from the fact that our new owners are willing to pay over the odds to sign players that we really want. Because if we don't make top 4, the only strategy to recruiting quality players to come to Chelsea will be paying over the odds. That means you have to convince Rafael Leao to come and not play one season in Champions League, Vardy to come and not play one season in Champions League, probably Enzo Fernandez and other guys. Maybe Declan Rice is not used to playing the Champions League, but he wants to play the Champions League. Those are going to be his deciding factors. But the fact that we're willing to pay over the odds, the new owners are willing to splash out the cash. We can, if we don't qualify for the Champions League, we can pay over the odds for players. And I think in one season, we can be back in the Champions League.
I hope so. It sounds easy, but deep down, it's going to be really difficult. Again, it's not just us. But I hope that doesn't happen. Really, I hope that doesn't happen. I hope we don't get to a situation whereby if we miss out of Champions League this season, it happens next year. I don't want that to happen. I'm going to catch up with what we have in the chat so we can move on to the next topic just quickly. Let's see what we have here. We seriously need younger players in the midfield. And again, that's why I said we're not sure where Chukwuemeka fits in and not sure where Casadei fits in until we see them play a few games. Then we'll be sure we can say, okay, this is really where we need players, because we have Chukwuemeka, we have Casadei, we have even currently, and this again, there's no, I wouldn't say I'm sure where Gallagher fits in the team, but we'll see.
I have something to say about those 2 players.
Sorry?
I said I have something to say about Casadei and Chukwuemeka.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can tell you categorically that Cesare Casadei, he has a plan at Chelsea. And the first phase of the plan is what he's in now. And that's quite simply to settle in, learn the language, train with the first team, play some development squad games. That's all. He's not going to break into the first team or anything. It's highly unlikely.
No matter
He's
how well
there
he
to
does.
settle in. Well, if he does exceptionally well, then the temptation will be there. But his plan is to learn the language, settle in, play a few development games, train with the first team. That is his plan. Chukwuemeka's plan is come off the bench occasionally, settle in as well. These guys aren't here for this season for major performances. However, if they prove to be exceptional, then of course the temptation to change that will be there. But they're trying to take it easy with them. And I think they're very right to do that. They're very right to do that. The midfield problem is deeper than would appear, in that there's still the potential to have possibly dead wood there, which isn't really helping the midfield. What do we do about that? Well, the January transfer window will tell. If there is a midfielder to be had and someone to be let go of in that midfield area, I don't think they should hesitate. I think they will do that if it's going to improve the midfield. But the problem is there's very little time for improvement. It has to be somebody who can really, really hit the ground running. And I don't know if that player is available right now.
Yeah, again, thank you very much, Bobby. Always nice to hear from you. And I can't thank you enough for even participating, even when you're at work. So thank you so much again. I like the well explained. I didn't know that was a structure, again, you could say a plan for his development, which includes him learning the language and all that. Yeah, I think, thank you so much. I appreciate you explaining that. If anything, I'm going to try for us to move on from this Igali comment. If anything, it gives me hope that it's not, again, they're not just profit focused, that they understand the importance of winning, the importance of achieving success, because that attracts, more importantly, attracts big name sponsors. Again, it helps the brand. Again, if it's all about process, the footballing aspect of the whole thing, of the business will suffer, and big name sponsors will shy away from, again, doing business from Chelsea Football Club. So, excuse me for the cough. We move on from that. We have other topics to talk about. Did I look at this one again? Whenever you buy a player, regardless of the amount you're not guaranteed that player will hit the ground running. Kukurea, Koulibaly, Alba, Sterling, Lukaku. I do believe, again, we'll find the formula. Again, there's a formula, really. The question is finding it. So good comment there. I say that's a delicious comment on its own. We have 94 votes in the poll that asks, do you think that Fofana will succeed at Chelsea? Which 95% says yes, and 5% says no, which means a majority, again, believes he would do well at Chelsea. But I wanted to say something about having 95 votes and just 60 likes. That's like, that's 35, again, difference. We should come close to at least 80 likes. Since we have 95 votes, it takes just a second to vote, to participate in the poll. And it takes equally half a second, at most a second, to drop a like on the video. Please do so to help us reach more people. Thank you so much for finding time to join the show. But again, we can do better than 60 likes. So thank you for that delicious comment there. Chika DBR again, my Niger brother, says, good day, coach. Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas to you too. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. Koulibaly is strong, intelligent. Intelligence, more importantly. Intelligence and his ability on the ball are the two things I love about him, which was, again, the thing I talked about, again, which is the reason why you could argue Thiago Silva still plays at the highest level, even though he's nearing 40. And at 40, if his body can still carry him, he'll still be able, again, if he's still playing, he'll still be one of the best defenders in the world because of his intelligence as a player, footballing intelligence, and his technical ability. And Koulibaly has those things. So it's not about pace, it's not even about power. So thank you for that comment there. Again, his awareness, good, just a bit rash, which is something that defines his game. I think he gets used to the pace of, again, as he gets used to the pace of with the pace of the Premier League more and more, I think we'll see less and less of those rash attackers and all that. Again, he's world class. Again, he's world class, really. I must let you know that. No, again, he's a long-time player. No, again, that's how you see it. That's you. Can we depend on him in big games? Unfortunately, no. Let's cash in. If that's how you feel, but for me, I think otherwise, really. Hi, Kuchila, again, says a roller elbow. In all the panel, in my opinion, you cannot really judge the Kukurea Chelsea backline. This is what you get when you chop and change the backline in both personnel and formation. This is, again, the most delicious comment for the day. I said that too. Changing, again, a single player in the backline can cause a whole lot of problems, but most people don't pay attention to that. Hardworking midfielders gives balance to entire area on the field of play. Therefore, we must strengthen our midfield. I prefer intelligence over players that run too much, really. Todd already said no problem if Chelsea doesn't get top four. It's a shocking Roman would never say that. I'm not sure Todd said that. If he says it, then he probably must not know the risk. Again, how much, again, the financial, that will hit the pocketbook. There's a chance he really said that. There's a chance he believes, again, just take this season to fix things for long-term gain. And then from next season, we'll be firing on all cylinder. But my concern is that, again, if we miss out of top four this season, it will be difficult to get back in because a lot of teams have money now and can sign whatever player they want. Potter needs time to get Chelsea going, his style. We have too many vet players. I hope that happens because Chelsea is the club I support. They are not good enough. If you say that, Todd should have had in place before buying players. Okay. Again, guys, please, it doesn't make sense that we have 99 votes and just 62 likes. We should be doing better than that. Please take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you, guys, for finding the time to participate in the show. Like I said, this gives me hope. But again, how soon I will, again, I'm still concerned about the immediate future of the club. And we've talked about Koulibaly, Inter considering him. This is probably where the rumors of him leaving Chelsea Football Club stems from. This is not saying Chelsea wants to sell him. This is saying that Inter are considering him as a replacement for Milan Skriniar. Again, if he doesn't extend by the time June comes. I mean, that's why the way, again, you simply cannot get the kind of chemistry and consistency that we desire with all of the chopping and changing in the back line. Add our bad injury problems, time is what these players need. That is just the truth, and I appreciate that delicious comment right there. We move on to the next thing. Cesc Fàbregas suggesting that Chelsea sign Dani Olmo. He says Dani Olmo could be a great addition if Chelsea continues to play in this system, and I think he's correct. I've looked at these numbers, though. Maybe if he changes and comes to chances, that will improve. For me personally, I am looking at attacking midfielders, call it, again, central attacking midfielders, call it, again, central midfielders, that will produce double digits in terms of, again, chance creation, that would diversify our chance creation. Because the truth remains, since Fàbregas left us, since Juan Mata left us, we haven't had players who are capable of creating clear-cut chances from central areas consistently. You could argue it all comes down to us playing with 6 or 2-8 where we don't have a 10, or traditional 10s, and who are usually tasked with creating, again, clear-cut chances from central areas. From the era of Frank Lampard, we've had players who are capable of creating chances from the flanks mainly. Which means if opposition teams are capable of stopping us from getting in the crosses from the flanks, usually we suffer. But that's why we struggle against teams that defend deep. But when you have players who are capable of creating chances from central areas, from, again, like Fàbregas did for us, no matter how deep teams defend, they'll be able to see the run of our attacking players or any player and find them with the ball. I want to get your thoughts again on on Cesc Fàbregas suggesting Dani Olmo. Emmanuel, what do you think?
I think Dani Olmo is an exciting player. I've followed him for a while. He has quality, but bringing in Dani Olmo means that you'll be sacrificing Mason Mount, because looking at the players we're recruiting, and we want to recruit, bringing in Nkunku, you already have Raheem Sterling, you have Christian Pulisic. That means Mason Mount will have to come back to play in midfield and to occupy probably the number 10 position. So are you bringing in Dani Olmo to take Mason Mount's position, or are you bringing him to compete with Mason Mount for that position? So we have to look at that strategically, instead of spending a lot of money to bring a player in that's not going to be drafted directly into our first team. So I think that's where the problem lies. But I think he's a good player. He has something to offer. We lack that profile of a player that can create. Since we lost Mata, Hazard, Oscar, we suffered in those departments. Cesc Fàbregas was instrumental to us winning the Premier League under Antonio Conte. So I think
Even under Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, definitely. Jose Mourinho. So I think it's gonna be a little bit too much to bring in Dani Olmo. I think we should give Mason Mount the opportunity to resettle playing in midfield and find his form again. I think he has other qualities to drive our midfield forward.
Good point. But if we're being honest, it will be difficult to get him, really. Let me check it, except if his contract is running down. Let me check his contract, because the truth remains, he plays for Leipzig, right?
Yeah, sure.
So Leipzig, we already taken Nkunku from them, and we're still working to get Vadio. And now, if Dani Olmo comes into the fold, again, this is just Fàbregas. We're talking about how good, if he suits our style of play. I think he will, especially on the ground. Potter's, again, and Graham Potter's preferred approach. Well, I don't see Leipzig agreeing to sell him to us, because clubs, they do pay attention not to set a dangerous precedent, because they're not the shopping mall for players for us, as much as we'd like to get him. I don't know if you get my point, Emmanuel.
I understand it's going to be difficult for us to sign 3 players from Leipzig, especially key players, because as I learned, we're the front runners right now for Vadio. If they allow us to sign Vadio, I don't think we stand a chance of signing another player in the same window. I think there's also interest in this kid from Salzburg that's now going to Leipzig. The striker. I think it's going to be difficult.
Go ahead. But I remember we were linked to
Benjamin Šeško. There's also interest in Šeško. Yeah. So I think it's going to be difficult for us to get all of those players. I think if we get Vadio, it might be all we can do for this window in terms of business with Leipzig. But for our midfield, it's important for us to get a traditional central defensive midfielder. We're looking at Declan Rice. I think he fits the bill perfectly. He's going to come in. He knows the boys. He has a good relationship with the English guys, so it's going to be easy for him to settle in. He knows the Premier League. That should be the prime target for us. We need a box-to-box midfielder. I'm glad that we've been looking into Enzo Fernandez, because that department has been the department that has won us championships before. A lot of Chelsea fans forget that when we were the dominant team, we had Nemanja Matic, we had N'Golo Kante, we had those guys providing the steel in midfield, and that's what we're missing right now. It's not that we're very awful or we're a bad team, or our attack cannot play, or we do not have good defenders, but we're missing a key part of our system, which is guys that can protect our midfield. So I think it's going to be important for us to keep pursuing Declan Rice. If we get Declan Rice, it's going to be good for us. I hope Kante returns from injury very soon, because he's going to be very instrumental. If we're going to secure top 4, it's going to be because Kante comes back and play an injury core role. With all N'Golo
Yeah.
Kante coming back into the squad, I think our chances of making top four is going to be very, very slim because we're
Yeah, and
missing that.
that's
Sure.
yeah. Even with Kante available, sorry for cutting you off. I think it's still be difficult because we're out of there right now, and those teams out there, they're in a very fine form. Those teams are above us, except for Brighton. I think Brighton will still drop points. But those teams up there, the top six, I think they're very strong. And again, and can only get better. But go ahead with what you're saying.
Yeah, so as I was saying, it's important for us to work. I don't know what's going on with our medical team because we have too much injuries and recurrence of injuries, players coming and
In
going
terms of
back.
the injuries, I point fingers at the physios rather than the medical team, really,
The
or maybe
physios,
the
right?
overall approach to training, because the
Sure,
medical team,
maybe.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe because we had so many injuries. We have players come back from injuries and then they're going back for a couple of weeks. It's going to be important for us to improve in that area. But with respect to Conte, we really need him back. We need him back. I'm not very afraid of Manchester United, Newcastle, and
Hmm.
Tottenham. I think there's a chance that we can do better than them in the remaining 4 games or 5 games or the first phase and go into the second phase. We can start the second phase very strongly. And if
Hmm.
we do that, if we have Conte back in the squad, a lot of people underestimate what he brings to Chelsea. Thomas Tuchel told us that he was like the Messi or the Neymar for Chelsea. He improves the team so much that you would not realize that other players are not playing well. He's going to be very, very important to Chelsea. And if we're going to put up a charge for top four, it's going to be on the back of us having him back up and running and providing
Hmm.
what he does for Chelsea.
Yeah, let me catch up with the chat and then we'll move on to the next topic. Here, well, again, I've read this one and again, good contribution there. Dani Olmo is a very good player, and sometimes ago, I suggested the guy to Chelsea as an ideal player. Again, played just like a Kevin De Bruyne, probably more, how do I phrase it, more agile. In terms of, I don't know how to the correct term for it, but he's the he's a fine player. Excuse me for the cough. But again, let's look at it. I think Leipzig may well be forced to sell him. Why do I say that? So if that's the case, then it won't be a problem for Chelsea to ask again if they want to sell him or to show interest. His contract expires in June 2024, which means in 2023 he'd have just he has just 2 years left on his contract. Yeah. So next year he'd have just about a year left on his contract, or 18 months or so. So again, to me, it doesn't look like he wants to continue at Leipzig. So if it's available, then it wouldn't be an issue for Chelsea to, again, show interest on the player and get him. I think he's a fine player, and he speaks good English too. Because I did the research, I watched the interviews. He speaks a very good English. So again, that again part of him, adapting to the Premier League, and then that lessens the length of time it would take because communication isn't an issue. Let's see, if maybe the club shows interest. Again, people, we have 112 votes, and surprisingly, we have just 66 likes. We should be doing better than that. Please take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And in 10 minutes, we'll do a $50 giveaway, and I'll explain why we're doing that in a bit. So we'll move on from that one to this particular topic here. Again, Chelsea are one of the clubs interested in Enzo Fernandez. We've already talked about that, but I'm really concerned about how much it will come for. If they rejected 100 million euros, then getting him will not be easy. Chelsea continue to track Southampton midfielder Romeo Lavia ahead of the general transfer window. Let me see again. I want to know. Look at his contract. Current contract at Brighton, because that will show you how much he's gonna go. Again, they're gonna be quoting for him. I think given that he's worked on the ground, Potter, maybe he wants him for that reason. But I'm still not sure about him. He's done quite well at Brighton, but I'm still not sure about him really. How about you? What do you think about Romeo Lavia? Do you think is he a player who would want Chelsea to look at him, Emmanuel?
Lavia, I've seen him play a couple of times. I saw him against Chelsea. He's a decent footballer,
Mm,
but doesn't have the level of experience to come to Chelsea and deal with winning week in, week out. I think he's still in that stage of development, and he's not going to come directly into the first team and do the job. And if we get him, I think it's for the long-term project. He's going to be in the same mode of your Carney Chukwuemeka's
hmm
and Amari Hutchinson and the other guys. It will be primarily for the future. I don't think Lavia is the guy to come in and give us that quick fix that we need in midfield. I
hmm
think it will be more prudent for us to look at guys like Enzo Fernandez and pay the money we're rebuilding. We have the money
hmm
to spend, and we have to go for players that are already made, have proven that they can perform at the top level in the Champions League, like Enzo have proven it in the World Cup. So
hmm
I think Lavia, if we get him, is going to be for the long term and not immediately.
Yeah, and Lavia is contracted to Southampton until 2027, so which means it's not going to come cheap. So if we want to pay big money for any player, I think we should be looking for established player. Again, to me, the player I really do want this club to sign is Vanessa, or again Amrabat, or even again the US international plays for Leeds United. I think he did well at the World Cup. Even for them, since the departure of the guy that joined Manchester City, he's done quite well for them. So Romeo Lavia, here it says his age. How old is he? 18. I didn't know that. Belgium. Let me look at this trophy. Something is confusing me here. I really want to look at this. Um, is that the Premier League trophy I'm seeing there? If that's the case, with what club really? Or is this a mistake? Yeah, let me see again his trophies. Was he a player at Manchester City? Did he play
Yeah,
for Man City?
he came out of Manchester City youth ranks.
Oh, now I see. So he has one Premier League trophy. Oh, okay. Manchester again with the senior team. One Manchester United under 18 2021. Under 18 English Youth League trophy. He has winning mentality and he has experience. Again, maybe he's worth the price. I don't know. It depends if the club wants him. So yeah, I didn't know. I didn't remember he played for Manchester City. But that's by the way. Dani Olmo, I hope we'll get him. I think he'd do well. US fans need to stop worrying too much about front runners, BC Arsenal and Spurs. Also, okay, us fans, he means, are going to beat Chelsea for top four. Chelsea have a lot of injuries with new coach. That's a receipt for top four struggling. It's halftime only. I'm not sure I understand your comment quite well. But again, I get you. I try to understand. Come on, people, like the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Again, it doesn't make sense that we have 118 votes on the poll and just 67 likes. We should be doing better than that. Big up everyone. Again, I hope we're all well. It's Kami. It's been a minute, brother. I hope you're doing well, but I understand you're always busy and bills don't pay themselves. Hugo Lloris, again, Capital. Again, I can't read the rest, but thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. Andre Santos, I want to sign in again. He'll be for us. Hopefully, again, he succeeds at Chelsea Football Club. Lavia is a baller coach, a solid in DM, can play again as well. Again, he plays for Southampton. I know he plays for Southampton, but I didn't know, again, he was an academy product of Manchester City and he has won the Premier League. He's won the Youth Premier League also and one other trophy like that. I think he's a fine player. The question is, does the manager want him? Does the club want him? We don't know. And please, I'm begging you, it doesn't make sense. We have 118 likes and 18 votes and just 68 likes. We should be doing better than that. Let me see anything else. Again, this is Enzo Fernandez. For that price, I think it's a bit too high. And it's about time, just 4 minutes. I think we should just go ahead and do the giveaway, and then we can continue from there. If you have any question or any contribution, just drop it in the chat, and we will try to address it. Just quickly, I'll show you what the type to participate in the giveaway. And this giveaway, it's for me showing appreciation to the followers of the channel and subscribers, because again, it was budgeted 150 budget for the Roman Abramovich tribute contest that didn't happen because the contestants weren't that serious at that point. So again, I canceled it. Now I'm going to break it into 3 and do giveaway for 3 consecutive days or 2, again, to appreciate the fans, the immense support that this channel has gotten. Again, but people, please, let's get it to at least 70 likes. One, to get it to 70. If we get to 100 by the time the show ends, I will take it. So thank you so much. This is the particular stream, and I want you to type hashtag, again, thank you, Roman, and I'll wait to see how many people will participate. And before I do the draw, you get to win $50. And please be sure that you have a working PayPal account. I don't like a situation where you win the giveaway, and again, it will be a struggle to get you the prize cash money. There you go. This is what you need to type there. It says thank you, Roman. Hashtag thank you, Roman. All words. Again, the 3 words each starts with a capital letter. Let me know if you can see that. Again, let me read this from Liam Lane, which says, again, Southampton turned down 50 million last summer from us. So that's even too much money. Again, for his age, not to mind offering more. Yeah, it is concerning, really. It is concerning. Again, he's not going to come cheap. Even though, again, he's contracted, again, more importantly, again, more so, he's contracted to Southampton until 2027. So, yeah, they're not going to be in a hurry to decide on what to do with the players. So this is what you do. You type thank you, Roman. Each word starts with a capital letter. Thank starts with a capital T, U starts with a capital Y, and Roman with a capital R. So I'll wait for you. I'll give you time. And I'm going to run through all the topics we discussed while I wait for you to type thank you, Roman, so you can participate in the giveaway, and you get to win $50 if you end up being the one selected. Again, thank you for 70 likes, but we can do better than that. I'll run through all the topics we've discussed today. And even if you're on the panel, Emmanuel, if you want to participate, just go to the chat and tap thank you, Roman. As you can see, as you see on the screen, hashtag thank you, Roman, to get a chance to win $50. Here are the things we talked about. We talked about Inter Milan, that they are very disappointed with Romeo Lukaku's performances, but will take advantage of his poor form to ask Chelsea to extend his loan for another 12 months. That's a purchase option of 4, again, this summer, but it's his performances convinced Inter to delay a decision. To me, it's a strategy. Again, by design, Inter just wants to knock down the price. But if I were Chelsea, I would say, again, yeah, you get him for another 12 months, but you will have to have a clause, an obligation for you to buy, because it's dangerous. We paid north of £90 million for this particular, for the player in question. And again, he gets to leave on a free, practically. Again, I know there's no way we'd handle it for us not to take an L. But I don't want it to be, again, for us to sell him below anything, again, below £50 million. This is dangerous. They played us. They knew exactly what they're doing. And if we have to say, okay, he remains at the club there for another 12 months without an obligation to buy him, they still play us again. They still say we want to keep him for 1 more year. It just doesn't make any sort of sense. But that's, by the way, we'll move on. Again, I want to take this opportunity to quickly to say again hello to my friend and brother, Max. Again, there shouldn't be spaces between the words. The words will be together, but each word starts with a capital letter. And thank you so much, Max. And I hope you're doing well. Max, if you have time, please do share the link to your channel so that people can go check it out. I call Max the Chelsea Encyclopedia. He's followed the club for a long time and knows the club, the structure, everything in and out. So you don't want to miss out on checking out his YouTube channel. Subscribe, and believe me, you will thank me later. Again, it's like this. Again, thank you, Roman. No spaces between the words, and each word starting with a capital letter. Let's see what we have here. Again, no spaces between the word Achine, Dumane, Obiago. Please remove the spaces. I'll wait for you to correct that. Thank you, Roman. And here, my brother, Glenn. He says, Coach, I am at the point where, again, I'd gift him for free. You're talking about your countryman, really. That's surprising to me. I know you're Belgium, so you're talking about your countryman here. Yeah. Unfortunately, it hasn't really worked. Again, this is where what are you going to type? Thank you, Roman. Max, I don't know if you're paying attention. No spaces. Again, Chinedu Obiagam, no spaces between the words, but they each have to start with a capital letter. Let me see how many people that have registered their interest. I'm going to wait for a bit. If you have anything else you want us to talk about, please do so. Let me say start collecting and see how many people. 6 entries. Okay, there aren't too many people in the chat, but that's fine. Again, 71 likes. Thank you so much. Again, that's surprising to me, even though we haven't streamed consistently in a while. So 71 likes is huge. So thank you. But we should still be doing better than 71 likes since we have 127 again votes participants again in the poll, which I'm going to end in a bit. We should have at least 100 likes again. But if that doesn't happen, I still appreciate 71 likes. It's not easy. So if you haven't, drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I'm going to end the poll, which asks the question, do you think that Fofana will succeed at Chelsea Football Club, which 92% says yes and 8% says no. I think that should be about 1%. If correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not going to go into trying to find that out. So thank you for participating in the poll. Let's see, start collecting. We still have just 6 people. We should have more. So let me go through this. Let's see if anybody joins. We've read this. And again, Datro Fofana completed his medical test, and that is good. And like I said, this banner for Reece James, well deserved, because again, he's fully committed to the club. Again, future leader, a player who on 2 occasions that is again negotiated contract. It didn't take time. We didn't hear any stories of him not agreeing, of him rejecting anything. He's Chelsea through and through. Benfica has rejected 100 million offer for Enzo Fernandez to me, which made me say, yeah, for that, seriously, again, which means he's not gonna come cheap. But we don't know the club that met the bid. Again, he said the offer did not come from Liverpool, so the offer could have come from Chelsea and other clubs that are interested in securing the signature of the club. And this comment here, I decided we talk about it because it just shows that the new owners understand that we need to win. We need to win trophies. We need to be successful to attract big name sponsors for the commercial aspect of the whole thing of the business to do well, and profitability, more importantly. For that to happen, we need to, again, we need to win. Again, Bengali, you've got to win. This is important to me. It just shows they understand. If they focus too much on, again, on the profit aspect of the whole thing, again, the footballing aspect will suffer, and then again, the commercial aspect and profitability will follow suit. So it's important that we win. Here we talked about, again, Koulibaly's future. To me, I think it's all nonsense. And the good thing is this stems, again, the rumor stems from Inter considering him as a replacement for Milan Skriniar. That is, if Milan Skriniar don't extend. But that's, by the way, again, Cesc Fàbregas suggesting Dani Olmo. Again, he has 2 years left on his contract. As much as I think it will be an issue trying to go for another player that plays for Leipzig, I think they'd be forced to sell instead of losing him on a free. This Enzo Fernandez also. Chelsea continue to track Southampton midfielder Romeo Lavia. He's still young. Plus, again, he has a winning mentality. He's won, again, some big trophies, and again, even as a youngster. So let's do this now. Back again, I'm going to start collecting again 7, and I'm going to go ahead catch up with what we have in the chat, and then I'll do the draw. Let's see again. Thank you, Max, for correcting that. We need Ben Chilwell back very soon. He's an important piece of the winning puzzle. That's the truth. Again, saying hello to each other. Let's see what we have here. I meant fans need to stop worrying, okay, about Arsenal and Spurs from runners again, not beating the Blues for top four. Okay, you think so? Okay, we had lots of injuries and a new coach. That's why we struggled. It's not how we started, it's how we ended. More importantly, it's not how you started, how it starts, but how it ends. Again, if you're watching, if you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I'm going to go ahead and do the draw, start collecting. Still 7 now in the draw. Let's see. Good luck to you all. Okay, the winner is a Royal Arbor. So again, if you're not the winner, again, don't give up. We still do one tomorrow. We still do one the next day. $150 again budgeted for the giveaway. Again, it's a way of showing appreciation for your support to the channel. And also, again, this is because again the contestant for the Roman Abramovich tribute contest were in that series, so I had to yank that one. A Royal Arbor. Congratulations to you. What you do is reach out to me via Twitter. And again, if you have PayPal, as soon as, again, a few hours, you get your prize. And congratulations to you. And I hope, again, good luck to us all, again, for tomorrow, because we'll still do it tomorrow and next. Excuse me. So if you have anything else you'd like us to talk about, go ahead, shoot it in the chat. And let's talk about it. I'll wait for you, give you a minute or two. Let me see. Let me put up a poll here and ask the question, who should the club sign? Let's see. Let me ask this question, which of these players would you like Chelsea to sign? Chelsea to sign. Just 1 second to sign for DM role. Okay, yeah, I think I need to have that for the DM role. And again, if you're watching, if you haven't, please do take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Just 1 second, let me add the name here, Vanessa. I hope I spell his name correctly. Is it Vanessa? I hope that's the correct spelling, but I know who you're talking about. I know you understand who I'm talking about. Declan Rice. One more option there. Amrabat. Romeo Lavia is actually box to box. But I'll just add him there. And Lavia. But again, I don't think we'll be signing him for that role in question. Let's do it again. There you go. You have the poll there. And here again, I want to say thank you for again 74 likes. Let's again 6 more likes and we'll get it to 80 likes. And Max, please, if you have time, please do share the link to your channel so people can go check it out. I've told them enough about you, but if I try to share the link myself, I think my screen will be frozen. Again, congratulations to Roller Arbor. Try to reach me via Twitter. And if you're not following us on Twitter, please do take a second to drop a like on the stream and follow us on Twitter. Again, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate all the support. I cannot thank you enough. And my brother here, Max, and a friend says, Happy Christmas. Yes, again, Merry Christmas again to you all. I hope again you're all in good health and enjoy again the Christmas in good health. And again, my prayers again once more to Roger, who's shown that he's a good friend and a brother again who lost his mother a few days ago. I'll keep praying for him. Did I win? Yes, you won a roll or elbow. Look at it on the screen. If you haven't, please again find a way. Reach out to me via Twitter, and if you have a PayPal account, you get the prize money as soon as, again, 3 hours. As long as after my sleep, I'll wake up again and do it for you. Actually, it depends, but you get it in a few hours. Yes, you won. Congrats, Roller Obo. And here again to my brother, Adekunle Tomitope, you're one man I'd really would like to see on the panel someday. Thanks, Kachila. Again, he must not be forgotten. Yep, that's the truth. Again, yes, congratulations. Thank you so much, Max, for saying that. Arsenal will have a trouble with Gabriel Jesus' absence, as said said it in October that they would struggle after the World Cup. Here it comes. Here's the thing. How well they're doing, and again, where they are at the table, I think the least they will get is top four. I don't think, no matter what happens, I don't see Arsenal missing out of top four. And I'm saying this, there was a game where, who was it that got injured? And they brought in a young star, but I'm not sure that was the youngster's debut. But then he scored 2 goals, or at least a goal, let me just say a goal. But he did quite well. They have a squad depth. They might not have the biggest names in football, but what they have is team spirit. What they have is the unity. Arsenal, they play as a unit. Again, that's one thing they have. That's the one thing they have going for them. Whoever comes on does a pretty good job. So to me, I think the worst that will happen to Arsenal this season will be, again, them not winning the league. I think they will remain at the top 4. And then just quickly, let me just open again the Premier League table. Let's look at it quickly. Again, I think they've done quite well, really. Yes, if you're following, again, Max has shared the link to his YouTube channel. Please go check it out and be sure to subscribe. Again, and if you let him know I sent you, again, that's fine. Okay, look at the Premier League table here, the standings here. If we're being honest with ourselves, let me do it this way. Look at where they are. They've lost 1 game, and they have 37 points. Manchester City, again, 32 points. Newcastle, 30 points. That's 9 points above us. 9 points. Tottenham, 29. That's 8 points because we have 21 above us. So if you look at the table, if we're being honest with ourselves, how well Arsenal have done, and again, they have good goal difference here. 22 goals. Man City's 26. That's not easy, really. If you look at, again, the teams here, Arsenal, the worst that will happen is that they won't win the league. But boy, believe me, if you see how they're going and how well they're doing and how they play as a unit, they will remain in the top 4. Man City, definitely. Newcastle United, this is just me repeating myself, but it's worth doing so. Again, they've shown such great form, even in the absence of Alexander Isak. Almiron carried the team. Almiron playing like prime Messi, scoring goals, assisting goals. He is in the best form of his life. And look how many games they've won in a row. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're physical, they're quick, and they don't have to win pretty. If that's one thing about them. And they're part of the big boys now. And rest assured, they will strengthen this January. So I see them remaining in the top 4. Tottenham, maybe, but still, Antonio Conte is capable of turning things around. He's very pragmatic, and he knows the Premier League quite well, if you know. Even though I still argue that his teams are very predictable, I still think that they will remain in the top 4. Man United, again, they picked up form, although they're still a bit shaky, but be rest assured they strengthen in this January. Same thing as Liverpool. Again, they will strengthen this January. So, again, it will be difficult for us to get back into top 4. So just look beyond Arsenal. I think they will make it. They will remain the worst that will happen, like I said before, they will remain in the top 4. For us, getting in there will be difficult. And if we miss out, getting in there next year will be even more difficult. So again, I hope we'll be able to break into that again this year. Thanks, Coachella. Again, like I said, you have to reach out via Twitter as soon as possible. So again, if you have a working PayPal account, even better. If you have access to Western Union or any bank in Nigeria, I'm guessing you're in Nigeria. Again, I do send money to family members in Nigeria, so that makes it easy. I can use Western Union or other, processes available. More thanks to you for always supporting the channel. And please do share, again, the channel, tell others about, again, a Chelsea perspective. We've grown from a channel to a community, and I wanted to continue that way. And if you, again, if you haven't, please drop a like on the stream. Just still 74 likes. Again, we can do better than that, but thank you. I appreciate that. Declan Rice, for you, I know you too well to know you prefer Declan Rice. But again, to me, my choice is Benessa. He's a better dribbler than Declan Rice is. I think his tackles, again, his tackles are very clean. He reads the game very well, and can actually, again, fulfill the hybrid of like 8 and 6 role, or if you prefer, you can call it the Kovacic role. He's a good passer of the ball. He scores good goals. To me, he tops the list for me. Declan Rice has never always been my first choice. Again, that's not me saying he's a bad player. But that's, by the way, again, seems that Neymar to Chelsea is another option that's going to get some attention. Again, heard he's again in a GC. Here's the thing. As the rumors have it, Todd Boehly and Ighali, they were at the World Cup in Qatar. Maybe didn't see any of them. But again, and they are again, and they are making, how do I say, again, they're talking to players camps, which means, again, they're talking to players camps. They are again, they also did speak to the Neymar's camp, again, which means again, Neymar, but Neymar is going to be very difficult to sign. Neymar again also again has again, it's not going to be simple to sign Neymar really, but if they sign him, commercial value, they'll make quite a lot of money from sales of merchandise, shirts, and all that. Plus, I think he could. He's that player who's capable of creating double digits in terms of assists from the central area of the pitch, which I've always said, again, that's important, really. We should be doing that. Just 1 second, again, Christopher Devel, welcome to Chelsea YouTube. Again, a feature share. Again, I think this Max sharing a video he did. Again, please go check it out. Make sure to drop a like on the video for him. And more importantly, please subscribe to Max's YouTube channel. You will not, again, regret it, really. Button Ballers, Merry Christmas. Again, one of the best Chelsea YouTube channels you would ever see. They can sub by watching this shot. Again, yes, go watch the shot. Again, drop a like on the shot and be sure to subscribe to his channel. Christopher Vivel, welcome to Chelsea. And again, Max also did a video. Correct me if I'm wrong. I watched the shot. What did the video on David Datro Fofana? You did a video showing what he's capable of doing, a short video. So go check it out and be sure to subscribe. Again, Reece Nelson, again, but he's injured as well. Again, we need fit players. Saka got injured and Ryan Nelson came on and scored. That was the game I was talking about. That shows you, again, even though Arsenal doesn't have that, again, too many big name players, one thing they have is unity. And to me, that's the most important thing. They play as a unit. Even, again, see, they outplayed us at home. But we have big name players that they don't have. They played, again, we saw the spirit that we saw the derby spirit from the Arsenal players that we didn't see from Chelsea players on the day, again, that they beat us at home. But yeah, that was what I was, again, trying to recall. The game where Saka got injured and the youngster came in and did well. To me, again, Arsenal, if anything, they will not win the league, but they will, again, at least, again, be in the top 4 come the end of the season. Reece Nelson, again, the name of the player in question. It will take a miracle for Chelsea to make top 4 this season. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening too, I have to be honest. But if it happens, I will take it. And here's my brother. I don't know. You were a mod on this channel, so how come it changed? Let me see again. I'll make you a mod again so that I'll be able to share the link to your channel so people can go check it out. But I want to be sure that is you. If that's you, I'll make you a mod immediately. Okay, that's you. Let me make you a mod again. My brother and friend. Again. Blue Cloud CV. You're not a mod again. I don't know what happened. If you haven't, again, I'm glad. I'm so happy to see you back. You had that terrible accident. It's not easy to come back with such a terrible accident, but you did. Again, that shows God loves you, and that shows, again, the prayers of people in the community who heard about it and prayed for you. It worked. So welcome back, Nee Zion from Nee Zion from Blue Clouds Media. Again, if you haven't, go check out Blue Clouds Media. And congratulations on reaching 1,100, I think, subscribers at this point. Again, the growth has been long time coming. You deserve all the success you're seeing right now, and I'm glad to have you back. More importantly, and I look forward to having you on the panel and also joining your panel because you started streaming again. Chama Yosef Wanne Adoma, again, my Igbo sister says, good day, Kachila. If no top 4, then we have to win the Champions League to participate in the next edition of the Champions League. And that's not even easy. But never say never. On 2 occasions that we've won the Champions League, we weren't the best, really. Again, nobody expected us to win that, but we did anyway. So again, anything can happen. So if you're watching, if you haven't, please do take a second to drop a like on the stream. 78 likes, 2 more to get it to 80. We can get there. Thank you so much. And Nee, if you're listening, you're not a mod, so please go ahead, share the link to your channel so people can go check it out. Button Butter says, if we miss out on Champions League, it would only be bad for a season. As the rules are changed again, the season after means we should get in even if we don't make top 4, as we have a good coefficient. Really? I'm going to have to reach out so you explain that new rule to me very well. You mean, again, are you talking about expanding the number of teams from the Premier League that can join? Which means, again, but from how we're doing right now, I hope we don't finish 8 or below that. But I get your point. That makes sense. I'll look up the new rule to get better understand it. Arsenal's team spirit doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Brooklyn Rain, if you're being honest. It doesn't matter, really. Again, because if you have the best, the crop of players, if you have assemble Ronaldo, again, Messi, add again Di Maria, add again what's his name, Robert Lewandowski, the best players in the world, and Ronaldo. If they don't play as a unit, you're not going to win anything. You could argue the reason, again, the reason PSG hasn't won the Champions League is that, again, at that point where they signed those players newly, people were thinking they were going to win it. They really, again, they only recently that they started playing as a unit. So it's not about the players you have. It's about how you play as a team, as a unit, the team spirit, more importantly. We won the 2012 Champions League. It was due to the team spirit. It was due to, again, down to how we played as a unit. We didn't have the best squad, but because we played as a unit, because the team spirit was there, because the team had a spine, we went ahead to win it against all odds. But I get your argument there. Again, they ran out guys like last. I don't see that happening, really. Again, what's come to us, Arsenal will be in the top 4. What's come to us, they're not going to win the league. Again, let me see let me finish reading what you have there. It's all about experience because when the pressure starts to suffocate them, they run out of gas. Like last year, they had to win again a couple of games, 4 top 4, and ended up bottling it. But this time, I think we're seeing a different Arsenal, if we're being honest, really. I'm not going to lie. Again, before we continue, if you haven't, again, please do take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I'm going to look at the poll again and wait to see if I have any question or any contribution from the chat that we should address. And again, if not, again, we'll move on. Sorry, go ahead. You wanted to say something, Emmanuel?
No, not really. I'm still listening to you.
Oh, no, you know you can always comment, because if you leave me, I'll keep talking and talking. Just quickly again, but let me come back with a question regarding Arsenal here. Which of these players, again, the poll asks, which of these players would you like Chelsea to sign for the DM role? 26% picked Vanessa, 52% picked Declan Rice, 9% Amrabat, and Romeo Lavia 13%, and that's 23 votes. That's a large, again, sample. Again, if you're watching, if you haven't, take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you so much for all the support. So, Emmanuel, let me ask you this. If we don't see any contribution from the chat, we can call it a day. Again, it's been a brilliant, again, discussion and stream, very interactive. That's how I like it. I like interacting with those in the chat because it's always something to learn from them. So, Emmanuel, your thoughts on the argument that Arsenal will bottle it. Do they look that they're going to bottle it this season for you?
Well, I don't think Arsenal will win the Premier League. I said that since the beginning of the season, but I
Hmm.
do not see them dropping out of the top four. I think the automatic top two for this season is going to be Man City and Arsenal, and then it's going to be between Chelsea, Manchester United, Tottenham, and Newcastle, Liverpool to fight for the remaining two spaces. I think Liverpool might have an advantage over the remaining teams among
Hmm.
us that's going to be fighting because I think they're just a better team than Chelsea, Tottenham, Manchester United at this point. They've had a hard season, but I think they have the players and they're going to finish above us. So it's now between Chelsea, Manchester United, and Tottenham and Newcastle to fight for the remaining one spot. Chelsea is at a big disadvantage looking at how we have performed from the beginning of the season. If we continue to perform the way we're performing, I think we're going to finish outside the top 10. And our performance is only going to improve based on the players that we have coming back. If they come back and show the levels that we and not to
Hmm.
forget Ungolo Kante is going to be instrumental to us performing how we want to perform. If we cannot get him fit and playing and getting those minutes again, the chances of us getting top four is going to be very slim, honestly.
Yeah. Again, here's the thing. I think you're way too optimistic. Probably that stems from your love for the club. As much as I love the club, and I've been in denial for a while. At one point, I even thought, but that was when Tuchel was still at the helm of things. At one point, I actually thought we're gonna win the league because people think we're not gonna do well. And that even as we signed Graham Potter, at one point I was in denial for a while. But if I'm being again factual, being again objective in my again assessment of whether I would be able to finish in the top four, I don't think again. It's let me just say, I don't see us making it this season. If it happens, I'll take it really, but it will be really, really, really difficult. Um, but we'll see what happens here. Kachila sent you again some DM from Potter's press conference. Thank you so much. I'll look at it in a bit. I've opened one of them. I have to open them. Maybe we'll call it a day with that one. But go ahead, Emmanuel, with your assessment. So you really do think we can make it in the top four? I want you to be specific because you said if we'll continue playing badly. But do you think again, if you're being honest again, do you think things would change and we'll end up making to the again will be in the top four come end of the season?
I think we're Chelsea. This is what defines Chelsea, our strength and resilience. We're a team that always come up and we're able to pull out the unthinkable. That's
Mm-hmm.
what makes us special. And I'm looking forward to us having players coming back. Let's not forget we have Ben Chilwell returning. Ben is arguably the best left fullback you have in the Premier League. Let's not forget how he performed in the Champions League, how he
Mm-hmm.
performed. We know the levels he can bring. Reece James is coming back. We have other players coming back. When we have our full team, when we have Conti in the team, Ben Chilwell, Reece James, Wesley Fofana, who is an extraordinary player. I've seen him play. Coming back into the team, I think will be a very formidable force in the league. I'm not very
Mm-hmm.
worried about Graham Potter, though I don't rank him very highly, but I think he's a good coach, and it's going to boil down to how much our players are able to put themselves together and give it a shot and push the team forward. I think we can do it if we have our full squad. But if we continue having injury problems, maybe we have another situation that we have to
Mm-hmm.
lose Reece James for another 3 to 4 games. Ben Chilwell having problems. I'm not very convinced about Marco Corella. I've seen him a couple of times. I think he's one of those players that need a very strong team to back him for you to see his performances. He cannot really perform under pressure when the team is not informed and you expect him to play and be, that extraordinary player. He's not at that level. So it's all going to boil down to Chelsea having the full squad. If we have our full squad to our disposal, I think we can give you a shot because looking at the other teams that are competing against us for the top four places, I'm not really convinced about Tottenham. I think Tottenham's biggest strength is Antonio Conte. He has the experience. He knows how to put his team together. We saw it last season when he took them and finished above Arsenal. I'm not really convinced about Manchester United. I think Eric Ten Hag doesn't have that fluid to make Manchester United to click. They're just riding on individual brilliance at the moment. Newcastle, I'm not really convinced. I think Liverpool fits the bill. So if Chelsea can have the full team back, if we can have our full squad back, I think we can give you a push. That's where I'm, being optimistic. But if we continue with injury problems, no, we're not going to make it.
We'll see what happens again. Hopefully, we have less injuries. Let alone again, just let the issue be us working hard to get there. But we need to sign a creative midfielder. But that's, by the way, we'll move on from that. Arsenal will fumble things in the matter for Wale. Arsenal again, all a bottling. I still got the pain in my throat, so I don't want to laugh too hard. But excuse me for the cough. Again, I knew you were going to say something like that. Jesus is injured. Arsenal finish. No, again, he hasn't scored for quite a while. So him being out of the team doesn't really make a lot of difference. If you paid attention to the run of form, you'd see, again, there was, again, a stretch of games where Jesus didn't score. The goals were coming from other individuals on the Arsenal team. And yet, again, in its absence, they do well. But again, it'd be good if they have him fit. So again, they'll be even stronger. But again, I don't think they'll miss him that much. Let's see, Drew would be a good signing. I have to be honest, I don't usually, again, jump and say I know a player. I don't know the player you just mentioned really that well. I don't know if Emmanuel knows the player in question. I do think we can get top four. We have been in worse situation with Lampard coming in with little experience, no Eden Hazard and transfer ban, and Lampard got us top four. Okay, that gives me hope. Yeah, I hope that happens, but things are a bit different at this time, given those that are up there, really. Look at this whole team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know Newcastle, again, no matter what you think about them, they are really way ahead of, again, schedule in terms of their project. Again, I don't know how else to phrase it. They have a solid squad. They have a squad that plays as a unit. Even, again, like I talked about before when the show started, in the absence of Alexander Isaac, they still did well. Almiron, again, playing like prime Messi. So them getting out of top four, I don't see that happening. It would take losing a lot of, again, a stretch of, again, a lot of games, again, like 3-4 games for them to get out of top four. I think they will remain there. They have a good structure in place in terms of the club's hierarchy. Again, the manager, he's done quite well. I think it's Eddie Howe, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. He's done quite well, really. But let's see, again, since again, I'm not sure, I can't read the language there. So anything else, again, other than that, anything else you want to talk about, Emmanuel? Other than that, again, if there's nothing else, we can call it a day.
Yes, one important thing I want to talk about. So we're building this Vision 2030 project, and we've brought in people like
Yeah,
Christopher
exactly.
Van
What
Gogh.
is that, really? Can you explain that?
So this is a vision where the new owners want to recruit young players, top prospects, so that maybe in the next 4 to 5 seasons we can bring them into the first team and create a new Chelsea with young players who have experience playing in top leagues around the world. But it's going to be based on creating a model that is able to develop young
And just
players and
quickly,
give
I
them.
forgot, Lamna sent me 2 updates that we're going to talk about before we call it a day. But go ahead explaining what you were saying.
Yeah, so this Vision 2030 project is about targeting very good young players around the world, global talents that we're able to bring to Chelsea and nurture them and draft them into the first team. But my concern is, how is this model going to work? Are we going to go back to the model that we used with VTC in the Netherlands, where we had a feeder, literally a feeder team with players on Chelsea going on loan? I don't know how it's going to work. That's what I want for us to talk about a little, because it's very important. When you sign young players, you need to play them. They need game time for them to develop, and not just game time in any league, but in a top league where they're able to have a level of competition that's equal to the Premier League, or compared to the Premier League that we're able to bring them back. I think it's a good project, but it depends on where we send them to develop, and it's going to be very important, or else we're just wasting money.
If we're really strategic about that, even without having feeder clubs, but I think the priority we've heard about the journalists talk about the club's intention to buy feeder clubs, which we discussed then whether again we show that's not going to lead to ethical issues in case if for instance if the club has two European clubs and they end up being in the same group in the Champions League in the Champions League and again that there may be situations where one club asks the others to do them a favor in terms of the outcome of the games. We talked about that at length, but I think the feeder clubs, and I think that's something they intend they intend to do. But if we're paying attention to it really quite well, if we sign a lot of young stars and we end up not having a clear path for all of them, for their development and all that, again, I think we'll gradually fall back into having too many players available. Again, sending too many of them on loan. But the difference right now is there are limits to how many players they can send out on loan, which means we should pay attention to how many of this the number of these young players that we're signing, because we can't send a lot of them out on loan. I forgot the limit, especially in the Premier League. So now that creates a problem in the sense, again, we'll be stuck with most of them, and there won't be space for them in the first team. And again, we end up having issues where again we'll draft their development. It becomes a problem. So I get your point. For the feeder team, I think that's something the club is planning. I don't know if what I said made sense to anybody. I think we have a solution in place for that, but we must pay attention to the number of these young players who sign. If that makes any sort of sense to you, Emmanuel.
Yeah, sure, definitely. That's
I
my
hope you understand what I
concern
just said.
because
And Glenn says again, I
because
think I've read this one. I'm waiting for Glenn's. Mhm. Go ahead.
yeah, as I was saying, because we cannot buy a feeder club in any top division. Like we
Mhm.
cannot buy any feeder club in the Serie A or the La Liga. And we want these young players to have a huge level of competition to prepare them for Chelsea. And
Mhm.
if we cannot have a feeder club in a big league, then we have to turn to sending these guys on loan. And there's a restriction on the amount of players you can send on loan. So I'm hoping that the recruitment of Christopher Vavel and the other guys from Southampton, they're going to strategize and they're going to find the best way possible for us to develop these talents, because these are very exciting talents that we've recruited. Cassidy, Chukwuemeka, Omari Hutchinson, Andre Santos, these are very, very talented kids. And if we develop them in the right way, we're saving ourselves from paying 80 million, 100 million for players in the next 2, 3 years. But we have to develop a clear path about the development, and then it's going to be a great move. Or else we're just wasting close to 100, 150 million on players.
Yeah, and otherwise, again, you see at some point these kids, they all will be seeking to leave the club, and we've seen that happen in the past 2, 3 years. A lot of the young players left the club. The best of the talents we have, actually, some of them left. But again, I think I'm glad you bring the again. You asked for us to talk about this. I won't speak too much on this 2020-30 vision stuff. All I would say is it looks like we're on our way to become the Ajax of England, minus the consistent trophies. I think where the difference is, if they understand, like this here from Igali, again, I forgot how to say his first name. And let me just look at particular comment from him. Is it this one, or did I lose it? I'm trying to find something here. Yeah, this one here shows they understand the importance of winning, the importance again of remaining a successful. Because if you're not successful, again, the big name sponsors will not be interested again in doing business with the club and all that. So to me, I think I get your concern, Glenn. They understand the importance of balance. having youngsters, which reduces again the amount of money we spend in the near future, because they're signing players that in a year or two, some of them are actually ready to be part of the team. They're trying to build a team that will help us again achieve sustained success, if you want to phrase it that way. But I get your concern, and I'm a little bit concerned about that too. But this gives me hope. This comment here, a statement here from Igali, gives me hope that they understand again that we need to win. And the truth remains, if they understand that, I think they should understand equally that balance is key. It's not about signing just young players. We need to sign experienced players. We need to sign the best talent available, establish. So let's say established talents. Like we're looking at again, Declan Rice, looking at some other players that there's been mentioned out there. Kunku, for instance. Plus, again, I think balance is key towards not being the Ajax of England. I think they understand that quite well. I don't think they spend billions in buying the club and they end up again being stupid on how the club is run. More importantly, we have a good structure in place now, which means the functional aspect, again, operational aspect of the club will be seamless. It's been streamlined, so we're not going to have an issue there. Our academy has been one, if not the best, again, in England. Our young squad win a lot. The issue is integrating them into the first team. That's where we fumble. And that's, you can argue, that's one of the reasons why some of those, again, the best talents in the world, young talents in the world that we had in our academy, some of them started leaving. But here's the thing, again, something else I want to say is this, is that we can't keep them all. And it's important to also recognize, as much as, the academy breeds the best talents in the world, at the same time, again, under Roman Abramovich, it was also, again, it's partly business and also, again, a development platform for young talent. See, how, if you look back and check how much the club made from loaning out players and made from selling academy products, also quite a lot of money. So, but right now, I think the club is trying to structure it in a way that whatever talent that comes out there, again, will be good enough to make it into the first team. It's not just a business model in the sense they're willing to, again, they understand they're going to sell a few of them and keep only like 2, 3. Again, but more importantly, let's understand we're not going to keep them all. There's no that possibility. Some of them would want to live on their own. Let's see what we have here. Again, big up to you, Tobago. I hope you're doing well, brother. Yes, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Let's move on. I wanted to talk about this update from my brother, Liam Lane. Just give me a second. I think it's this one. It says it's from Graham Potter's press conference. And this says Graham Potter expects Wesley Fofana to be out for a fortnight. Wesley had a little setback, which can sometimes happen at the very last stage of the rehab. He will be out for a couple of weeks. Fortnight, isn't it like 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now? Which, again, isn't bad. But I'd rather, again, Wesley go under the knife, then correct the problem. Because it is a real calling. And we looked at his injury record. It's again, if it's been injured 10 times, 6 of them, or at least 8 of them, again, have been knee injury. I don't know, maybe there are specific that they differ, but again, 8 of them, or at least 7 of them, were all, again, knee injuries. So I think he'd be better off going under the knife to correct the issue once and for all. What do you think, Emmanuel?
I think it's a huge problem for us, especially the amount of money that we invested into Wesley Fofana. We expected him to come in and play a huge part into the team. That's another reason why we've struggled, because we've had to play with a makeshift defense a couple of times, So, and his injury record, looking at his injury record, I hope he's not injury prone, because what I learned is that this injury is a new one. It's not the one he got from Leicester City.
And the one at Leicester City
back,
wasn't anything of his doing. It was a fracture, bone fracture.
Yeah, it was a fracture.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah, so before we pass any judgment, we'll have to wait for maybe another month, see him back in action. If there's another injury, then I think we can conclude that he's injury prone. And that's important for us to look at how we progress with deals for Vardiol and other defenders, because we cannot keep having our key men out of the team. That's going to cost us a lot of points. So we're hoping for the best. I hope that he comes back because he's a top quality player. I know what he can bring to the team. I really want to see him 100% fit, playing alongside Reece James on the right flank of Chelsea defense. I think it's going to be a huge partnership, and we're going to benefit from that a lot.
Yeah, again, we can only hope for the best. Again, I'll come back to his seconds, and then I'd like us to talk again. I think we'll round off with Dusan Vlahovic. I have him on the banner, and we haven't spoken about him. Our academy might be the best in England, but I beg to disagree that it can rival top quality talents in Spain or South America. We got the top again facilities, but not top talent. If that's how you want to see it, again, to me, I think it's one of the best in the world. The facility itself and everything. As I see, it's not to build up for winning trophies. It's only again buy cheap or sell expensive. Again, Chelsea has a lot in our academy, lots of good players there. Again, Graham Potter on Christopher Vivell, my reaction is positive. I've met him, excuse me for the cough, a few times and have already good feelings. He will be an asset to the club. Again, like I said, I'm really not concerned about the club's again long-term future. Again, we have a good structure in place right now, and again, the club will continue to grow. But I'm really concerned about the club's immediate future. My normal relationship with technical director is a supportive one. Looking forward to it. Again, it makes a whole lot of difference. Again, if you're watching, thank you so much for 85 likes. If you haven't, please do take a second to drop a like on the stream. We need just 16 more likes to get it to 100 likes. And believe me, we can actually do that since we still have two more stuff to talk about before we end the show. So please, if you haven't, please take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. The previous poll had 127 votes. So why haven't we reached 100 likes? And the second poll now have 33 votes. And believe me, we should be doing better than 85 likes. Thank you so much, guys. I sincerely do appreciate that. Let me see what we have here. Again, we've talked about this. We did look at it again. The importance of that comment. I think if again, it makes a whole lot of difference if we're being honest here. I'm looking for one of the windows. Okay, this is the window I'm looking for. Graham Potter's comment on Christopher Vivell. Again, I've met him a few times and have really good feelings. I think the same thing that my brother Tobago shared in the chat here a few times and have really good feelings. He will be an asset for the club. Again, I like the structure. What I'm concerned about is the immediate future of the club. Quickly, let's talk about Dusan Vlahovic. There are rumors that we're looking at him. But I'm going to ask you a question when I come back, Emmanuel. And Laura will be patient with me. I will talk with you after the show. This is 16 more likes to 200 likes. Yes, we can do better than that. It's 14 more likes right now. We can get it there. Come on, guys, let's do it, says my brother Tobago. And Tobago, when you get a chance, please do share the link to your channel so people can go check it out. Afternoon, guys. Old Havertz Kai, where have you been, brother? Nice to see you. Old, your name is a riddle, really. Old Havertz Kai had. Again, nice to see you, brother. It's been a minute. I hope you're preparing for your Christmas very well. Again, again, a big up to you. Yep. Let's see. Sergio Germany said again, this is just a conversation between those in the chat. Let me see. Dusan, I wanted him the time we signed Lukaku. Yep, the same thing as me. He was the player player I preferred. I would have loved the club to sign. I did a video with Have Hope Football Huts. My brother also, I think I did with Taron Sachdeva and also Ishan Bahadra. The three of them, I told them I'd prefer us signing Dusan Vlahovic. And I did a video with Mikhail, my brother, the scouting for Chelsea episode where Mikhail detailed why we should sign Vlahovic over Romelu Lukaku. He's not your typical traditional striker. He's the type of striker that if Tuchel had him, he'd do well under Thomas Tuchel because he's a complete player overall. But that's, by the way, we missed out on him. Again, hopefully we get him now. And have to catch my boss. Stay safe and healthy. Up to Chelsea. Yes, brother. Nice to see you. Glenn, much love again here. AB says, big up to you too, AB. I hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for joining the show. And here we have again, being at work, again, new job. Again, green keeping up again at 5:30 a.m. Yes, I understand, brother. Again, bills don't pay themselves. That's just me saying hello to you. You know, again, I love seeing you here, brother. So thank you so much. Coming to you, Emmanuel, we've signed Datro Fofana, who, again, you can say he's well equipped to do well in the Premier League. He's physical. He's, again, he's tall to be good in the air. I'm not sure how good he's in the air, but his close control is near excellent. He can dribble. And also, more importantly, something I love about my strikers is he's not selfish. He's not, again, it is not always about him. Again, he always looks up, try to find, again, the better position teammate to square the ball to, again, in most occasions. So the question is, again, hearing that we're looking at Dusan Vlahovic, as much as I like him, do you think it makes any sort of sense to be looking at him? Because we still have Aubameyang at the club who has, isn't it 2+1 or 3+1 contract? And Broya will still come back. Does it make any sort of sense to be looking at Dusan Vlahovic?
It makes a lot of sense to look at Vlahovic. He's one of the strikers that I followed. I like him. He's a complete striker, physical, good technique, has an eye for goal. He's one of those strikers that's very comfortable with the ball at his feet. He can dribble, and he's very good with the link-up play, like the way Chelsea wants to play. Looking at the profile players that we're targeting, we already have Nkunku. If you have Rafa Leao and Dusan Vlahovic, then you create an attack that is fearful, that can score goals, that can harass defenses because he's a very physical player. He's an efficient ball carrier. He knows how to retain possession. And he's a proven goal scorer. You know, he scored.
Yeah, he's a fine finisher, and his goals are not about power; it's about finesse.
Yeah, definitely. And he's a proven goal scorer. 44 goals for Fiorentina, 13 goals for Juventus in 25 games. That's a little over a
That's
goal
not a bad return, really.
Definitely. You know, 10 goals for Serbia in 19 games. So he's a proven goal scorer. And he's a big guy. He stands at 6'3". Bringing him to the Premier League for a striker, you need that physical mode and that physical presence because you'll be going against some of the most brutal and physical defenders in the world. I think he's a type of player that Chelsea needs, and we're seriously looking into bringing him in January. We're seriously looking into that.
Are we that serious, really?
Yeah, we're seriously looking into bringing him in January. We've made contact with his reps. I don't think we have talked to Juventus yet, but if things accelerate, we could hear more positive news coming up maybe in January. But we're seriously looking into bringing him because
just quickly, let's pretend we're trying to solve a problem right now. Now you're saying bring him in, and we still have what's his name? We still have again Armando Broya. He's just injured, and we'll be back at some point. At most, again, a month plus. I'm not sure again how long he will be out. And I will take Dusan Vlahovic anytime, any day. But we have to be honest. We have to make way for him. We can't have him have Aubameyang and have Datro Fofana. And I don't subscribe to the idea of Datro Fofana going out on loan because from what we've seen, I think he'd do well at Chelsea and in the Premier League proper. And we're talking about a kid who confessed his love for Chelsea Football Club and how he idolizes, again, former Chelsea player I've run into in Didier Drogba. Who makes way? What do we do with Aubameyang? Would you say let him go?
Aubameyang makes way.
Or can we have the three of them this January? Can we have Dusan Vlahovic, have Aubameyang, and still have Datro Fofana? Because no matter what happens, I don't subscribe to the idea of letting Datro Fofana leave alone. But you let me know your thoughts.
I think it's important to integrate Fofana into the team in January because we need to see him firsthand. We know he performed for Molde in the Norwegian league, which is we consider that league to be, like a feeder league. So if he comes to the Premier League, we'll have to see.
But look at the talents they're producing.
yeah, they're like a breeding ground for talents, and then you go to other leagues and prepare before taking a big step. I haven't seen a player come directly out of the Norwegian league and come to the Premier League and just perform. I think maybe one guy did it before for Manchester United, maybe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But I think it's important for us to have him come in January and let's see how he performs. For me, Aubameyang is not a long-term solution. He's not even the short-term for solution for us. I've seen him play for Chelsea. He's not there. He's not up to the pace. He's not giving us what we need. So bringing Vlahovic in January is going to be important too, because we need somebody who is a proven goal scorer and is ready to perform. I don't think Vlahovic
So you
is
believe
going to
really he'd
block.
do well in the Premier League?
Definitely, I think he's going to do well in the Premier League. I think he's a kind of striker that Chelsea needs. I think he fits the mold for the Premier League. He's physical. He's a very physical player. And to add to his physicality, he's a good ball player. He's very good with the ball at his feet. And I don't think he's going to block Amanda Broja development, because Broja can come back next season. He's going to have need time to get his form. He's going to need time to rehabilitate fully from his injury. So I'm not looking at Broja coming back until maybe the second phase of next season to be fully fit. So during that time, we can see a lot of Vlahovic and Dacio Fofana. I think Fofana is a player for the future. Keeping him at Chelsea, I don't think he's ready to be the focal man for Chelsea right now. He's going to need a loan as much as.
Let's look at this really. Let's look at his numbers. If we're being honest, look at Dacio Fofana's numbers. I'll let you continue in a bit, but I think I'm concerned probably because we didn't pay big money for him. That's why we're underrating him. But for me, I'd say for Dacio Fofana, really, because we didn't pay too much money for him, because we're not expecting too much of him. I think he'd do well at Chelsea, because when you pay big money for a player at this age, he's just 20, that's an added pressure. But given the fact we did not pay big money for him, plus we're not expecting too much of him, I think he has a chance to surprise a lot of us. We don't have to pay too much. This guy is a brilliant talent, really. Look at this. 24 matches, 15 goals, and 3 assists. This is nearly 1 goal per game. You get my argument. So I don't subscribe to the idea that he's not ready. No, let's see it happen first. Let him come, join us, play with us. Then if after a few games, then we can look at it and say, well, he's not ready yet. But I think this guy is ready, because his build, again, is well suited for the Premier League. And again, I'll let you continue, but I get your argument. But I think maybe subconsciously we're underrating him, because we didn't pay, again, it's something like 10, 20, 30 million pounds for him, really. But he's such a talent. I think he'd even do better for us than Aubameyang will. Again, notwithstanding Aubameyang's experience. But go ahead with what you were saying, Emmanuel.
Yeah, it's important that you mention Fofana's numbers. I think he will perform for Chelsea, and that's why I said it's important for him to come in January, for us to see him firsthand play in the Premier League at least for half a season, and then we'll be able to determine if he's ready to continue or he will benefit from a loan to another top European side.
Mm-hmm.
But I really think we need to recruit a proven finisher from a top league. Vlahovic is a proven finisher. Things are not going well at Juventus. They have a lot of problems in management and leadership, and the team haven't been performing. So, looking at that, I think he's going to benefit from coming and starting all over with Chelsea. And he's the kind of player that Chelsea needs right now. He's a proven goal scorer. He's ready made for the Premier League. And I think he's going to benefit from playing with guys like Nkunku and guys already in our team who have high profile and they can create for strikers too. So I think Vlahovic is the solution right now for our striker problem. Fofana is going to come in, but I'm not gonna get too hyped about Fofana until I see him, because he's a guy that I haven't seen in a really competitive game against top European side.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you're gonna be competing against Manchester City, Liverpool, and those big teams with inexperience. Even if you have the ability, it's gonna take time for you to get used to that level of pressure playing for a big team like Chelsea. But I'm looking forward to see him come in January, and let's take a closer look at him.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about it, I think we can actually accommodate them both. Maybe again accommodate Vlahovic and David Fofana. Then, as by the end of the season, we decide what to do with Aubameyang. If he doesn't produce that number we've seen, again, he's known for double digits at the end of the season. Maybe we decide to move him on. Again, I'm sure he's not. He does again. His contract is not long, but that's by the way. Look at Vlahovic's number. I think his numbers aren't bad actually. For 21, 22 in 15 games for Juventus, he scored 7 goals. That's not bad. 1 assist in 22, 23. 10 matches, he scored 6 goals. Again, he still has it. But I think Juventus's overall performance has overshadowed how good of a striker Vlahovic is really. Yeah, so I think it makes sense. And I didn't know we were serious about getting him in January. I hope that happens. But let's see what happens. Hopefully, maybe it's a case of us Jorginho going the other direction and him coming to us, and maybe that will help. I can bring down the price, because I'm sure he's probably still have a long-term contract at Juventus, because he joined them 2 years ago, isn't it? Big up land. Let's see what we have here. Just talking to old Kai Harvest there. People having conversation. Coach, get us Dusan Vlahovic. If it were up to me, I'd get him. Really, he's a player I like so much. Have a great Xmas, guys, and a happy New Year. Again, sent to you, oh brother, old Havertz Kai. I hope you enjoy your Christmas. We did sell our academy players for big money. A lot of them. Some of them went for big money. Some of them left on a free. And again, in most cases, some of them wanted to leave. Those ones we sold. The main reason most European clubs don't offer top dollar for our players is because most of them don't have the money. A lot of clubs are struggling. Yeah. A lot of clubs are struggling right now, for being honest, which is why they all fight on the loan market again. Which is why I say again we can actually get Vanessa and still get Leao, because as much as AC Milan wants to keep both players, they don't pay good salary. They don't really. Again, we'll see what happens there, but it makes sense. That's a delicious comment right there. Romeo Lavia would be a good signing for me. Again, I didn't even know. I learned today that he was an academy, Manchester City academy. Is he Manchester City's academy product? But I know they signed him. Didn't they sign him from a Belgian club? Given what I saw a few minutes ago, but he's a fine player. If the manager wants him, given that they've worked together, maybe again we'll see. Yeah. Again, I think we've come to the natural end of the show. I'm not sure. We're not missing anything else. If is there anything else you want to say again, Emmanuel?
Well, before we leave, I think it's going to be a very tough end to the season for Chelsea. We're in one of the worst positions we can ever be in. We're performing badly. We're not playing beautiful football. We have injuries to cope with. We have an inexperienced manager when it comes to managing a top club. We have new owners. We're trying to rebuild. We can only hope for the best. Let's hope that our players come back and perform the way we expect them to perform. And I think we're going to be good. We're Chelsea. We'll build for difficult moments. We'll build when we're the underdogs. And I think if our players come back from injury, we're going to have a good season. If not, we can only hope that things will go well for us in the future.
I hope so. I hope so. Like IBC will always say, it's going to be a long season. I hope that changes. Emmanuel, again, I cannot thank you enough for finding the time again to again. You're part of the Chelsea Perspective family proper right now. Welcome to the again as to the panel, and I will add you to the panelist group on Twitter. So whenever I share the link, if you have time, you can always jump in and express yourself. Very articulate and again very knowledgeable of the game and the club specifically. I cannot thank you enough We need just 12 likes to get to 100 likes. If we're able to get that, no worries. If we're able to get that, good. If not, again, no worries. It's excellent. Given that we haven't streamed consistently in a while, 88 likes isn't easy. I'm sure more people will drop likes on the video, and that way, there's a chance it gets to 100. But with that, I want to say thank you to all the Havats, Kai Hat, and again, thanks to my brother from another mother, Liam Lane. Much love to you, brother. I wish that's the way I could say, Liam Lane, please take this. Go again, have some, again, go have 6-pack beer. Again, your love for this channel and all for free, nothing. Again, not asking anything in return. I cannot thank you enough, brother. You're a great individual, and I hope to meet you someday. Tobago CFC, my brother from another mother. Again, nice. Thank you for finding the time to join the show. Again, Aurora Orbo, thank you so much. I've said hello to her old, again, Havat Kai Had, AB, Glenn, and everyone else. My brother who was in the chat, Nee from, again, Nizan, again, Blue Cloud Media. Nice to see you. Button Ballers, thanks for finding the time to participate today. I appreciate that. And my brother Adekunle Tamitope. And don't forget, tomorrow we'll do another giveaway. We'll do that for 3 days. I want to say thank you to everybody. And if I did not mention your name, apologies, I'm only human. And to Emmanuel, who's on the panel with me, I cannot thank you enough, brother. It's been a pleasure having you on the panel. And with that, again, we've come to the end of the show. I don't know. Excuse me. We get to the end of the show, and now again, my screen is frozen. I don't know if the show itself wants to end or not. Just quickly, I'm going to try to do this. My screen is frozen, really. All right, let's see again. I will continue. Again, I'll shut it down in a bit, but again, I don't know why. Maybe the show itself doesn't want to end. Oh, God, it's still frozen. Let me shut down a few stuff here to see if that helps. All right, Alex, it looks like I'm fine now. So with that, we've come to the end of the show, and I hope to see everyone tomorrow for another Blue Morning show and another giveaway show to show my appreciation to those who's, again, supported to support the channel that over time has become a community. With that, thank you. God bless us all. See you guys tomorrow, and bye.